Hey, Pete.
Hold on. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another edition of the evolution of Sports Talk Television. It's the Sports Web on a happy
Hump Day
edition, as we always do here on a Monday, Wednesday night. Hopefully you enjoyed your holiday there. Happy Memorial Day. You got a chance to get with your family, eat some hot dogs, hamburgers, steaks, whatever you do on that holiday. We needed to recharge the batteries. That's exactly what we did. On tonight's show, of course, we'll be talking about your Tampa Bay Buccaneers OTAs in full bloom. Who has shown up, who has not shown up. Is it a big deal, or are you making too much of a big deal about it? We'll have Louis from the Frozen Pirate podcast at 8:30. We will have former Super Bowl winning quarterback Ian Book, who is a part of the Philadelphia Eagles, the winningest Notre Dame quarterback in their history, at 8:30. At 9 o'clock, we will have the legend himself, Mr. Leo Haggerty, former Coach Scott and now media member of Night Sports Productions and Amped Up Sports. And then after that, we will have Turnbuckle Talks, two major wrestling events in history happened this week and last week. And we'll also talk about the latest what's going on with WWE and, of course, AEW. But how do we start off this show? As you know them, you love them, you got to have them. So let's get it out of the way. Bring the passion, bring our excitement. Just don't bring any nonsense. Open phone line, 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. There we go, right there with the single shot. Rays take care of business today. They take 2 out of 3, which is great. They are definitely on a hot streak. They beat the Minnesota Twins 5-0. So congratulations to the Tampa Bay Rays. Brandon Lau with a home run. Junior Caminero with a home run. Couple hits there. And Josh Lowe getting in full swing. So we'll see if the Rays, as they end that 9-game homestand, if they can go on the road now and continue to have the momentum. As always. So you could talk Rays baseball. You could talk around the NFL. Terry Bradshaw, not too happy with the Pittsburgh Steelers in their pursuit of Aaron Rodgers. Oh, you don't say. Terry Bradshaw talking. You got to love that. That's always entertaining. And again, Turnbuckle Talk. Let's go out to the comments. As always, Miss Green Queen herself, Darlene Emanuel, says first. She is first here, and just want to say happy birthday to you from yesterday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Thanks a lot for supporting the evolution of Sports Talk Television. As always, let me go out to Eric LFG. I don't have any LFG, but I got this.
Wait up, little boy. Stop. Wait up.
All right, let's go out to Tim here. Good evening, Peter. Good evening to you.
Oh, yeah.
Let's go out to Pitch Grid Pod. Evening to you.
Yes.
There we go. Pitch Grid again. Can't wait for the interview. Yeah, Ian Book, Super Bowl champion. I mean, that's the first thing I'm going to ask him. What's it feel like to be a Super Bowl champion? I got that coming on the Sports Web. And again, this kind of goes back to what we talked about, because our friends there at the Tampa Sports Collectors Expo, which again is June 6th on Friday, starts at 2 o'clock with the guests. And I got to get this up here right there. We'll get out of that. No, that's not it right there. Remove that. Let's go out to that. No, it's right there. Somebody's controlling in the background, as we will get that out of there. There you go. Friday's guest on June 6th there at the Florida State Fairgrounds. You got Tristan Wirfs, Levante David, and of course Saturday, Jose Canseco, Jalen McMillan, Brad Johnson, Antoine Winfield Jr., Kalijah Kancey, Christian Itzy, and Orlando Hernandez, Phil Esposito, Ruben Sierra, John Gruden. Of course, we will have Ian Book tonight, Bucky Irving, Desmond Watson, Elijah Roberts. And on Sunday, DJ Langway, Tank Hawkins, DeBron Hampton, Nick Anderson, Sam Perkins, Cedric Maxwell, Aaron Childs right there. So guys, continue to tune in to the evolution of Sports Talk Television, as we will be live. We will try to get the majority of those guests, if you will. So thanks a lot once again for tuning in there. Pitch Grid, how was your holiday, mate? It was great. Thank you for asking. How was your holiday? What'd you guys eat on that Monday? Was it hot dogs? Was it hamburgers? Was it steak? What was it?
Oh, yeah.
Thanks a lot. What's good, Big Pete? What's going on? Kyle right
Yes.
there. Let's see. Hey, Mr. Blake, how are you? Thank you very much for tuning in there on X. So I don't know who that is. Getting a diamond? What is that? Thank you very much for tuning in, whoever that is. As always, a little bit sneaky there. Yo ho, it's a pirate's life for me. That it is. Pitch Grid Pod. I would love to see your interview with Parrish. We'll see what we can do. Jacob Parrish. We'll see if we can get some interviews again. Just working on some things. Try to evolve this show. Get more athletes on. It's not just about yours truly. It's not just about Louis from the Frozen Pirate Podcast. It's not about Harry the Greek. It's not about Tampa Bay Ray Kennedy or Leo or the media icon TJ Reeves. We're trying to get Tampa Bay Buccaneer players, former and, of course, present here on the evolution of Sports Talk Television. Aloha, says Lamar right there.
Oh,
Appreciate
yeah.
you tuning in. So without further ado, let's go out to this guy right here, our co-host of the night, Mr. Louis from the Frozen Pirate Podcast.
What do you hear?
Yeah.
What do you say?
What do you hear? I did. Let's go out to him. Welcome to the evolution of Sports Talk Television. As always, my friend, what's going on a happy hump day edition? Lots of stuff to talk about, with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers OTAs. Levante David making some comments. We'll get into that, which is interesting in itself. And we got a Super Bowl winning quarterback in about 8:30. So you got to be excited about that. Welcome.
Absolutely.
Welcome.
I think everybody out there, the webheads, should definitely be excited about that because that's going to be a pretty good interview. The last player we had on here was Seneca Wallace. So if you guys haven't seen, go back and check that out. That was a really good interview we did. That was actually one of my first episodes. So yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to it. Yeah, it's going to be a good one, Pete. There's a lot of news, a lot of good news too. Well, it depends if you're really buying into this Hasson Reddick stuff. But the Tampa Bay Rays, they're on a good winning streak as of late. Some good news there. And yeah, it's a beautiful Wednesday. How can you complain?
You really can't. And hopefully you had a good holiday. What did you eat on Monday?
Hot dogs, hamburgers.
See, that's what everybody does. Everybody does that. I did the same.
Whalers Rise, couple of beers. Nothing too crazy.
Yes, and really quick, let me go ahead and shout this out here because if you can't tell here, got the beard trimmed up, shaped up professionally there. Got it on the other side. You can't see it. It's on the Again, go to Up the Block Barbershop. It's not too far. Go Up the Block Barbershop there. Whether you need a fade, haircut, edge up, beard trim, that's where you go. Again, 4946 Moog Road in Holiday, Florida. Tell them the Rolex reporter Peter Blake sent you and go see my favorite barber right there, Mr. Ricky, as he will get you taken care of. Because I told you about it. When it gets hot and I'm starting to itch and some, it's like, okay, it's starting to itch. Everybody's like shaving it anyway. I'm not shaving it. Yeah, when it gets like really like
my beard, it's not really too long. My barber Kevin, shout out to him. He does a great, fantastic job. But it don't really bother me too much, man. I like, especially in the wintertime when it grows in, don't really bother me. But then you guys got to deal with the heat 24/7. So
well, you deal with the heat. Not only you're gonna deal with the heat, but also it gets in my food, right? Like you're trying to eat.
You got to savor the flavor, baby. That's it.
No, I can't do it because I'm tasting hair. So that's why I say you got to go to Up the Block Barbershop. It's not too far. Up the Block Barbershop, 4946 in Holiday, Florida. And once again, tell them the Rolex reporter sent you. So there we go. Let's go out to David here. Reddick is not starting off on a good foot. So of course, you knew that we were going to start out with that, didn't you, David? Getting diamonds, but go Bucs. Absolutely appreciate it.
Right up.
I was like Twitter right there, followers. Beard is a bit white, Santa. Thank you very much, Harry. Appreciate it. Just always, always starting it up there, man. Always stirring it up. Stirring up the you-know-what soup. Big Louie, let's go. Absolutely, let's go. And question for you guys, how do you guys feel about Reddick not showing up to voluntary OTA so far? That's been the big-time story. I would say this. There's been other players but of course, it doesn't look very good at this point. Of course, Todd Bowles was asked about it, said he'll show up sometime, doesn't even know when he's going to show up at this point. So when you heard this, when you saw this report come out, were you surprised by it? Are you a little bit worried? Is it Randy Gregory all over again? Or
no, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Too much of a big deal about this because what Reddick did last year with the New York Jets.
Look, here's my take on this. I'm not making a big deal about it just because of the simple fact he's been in the building outside of his contract signing. He's been running sprints. He's been here. Again, you know who else is not here, Peter? Mike Evans.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of other guys are not here. I just think that people are just trying to kind of stir up the pot early on, but this team is unbreakable, in my opinion. They got a good locker room. Of course, that's going to be a huge headline. They want people to feed off this negativity. Unfortunately, I'm not one of those people that's going to feed off that. I think Hasson Reddick's going to come in here, and I think he's going to tear it up. I think he's going to have a great season for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I just think this is all kind of bullspit, to quote you-know-who.
Oh, listen to you quoting Steve Duman right there. You gotta love that.
And you know, I just think that you know, it's come on, man. It's voluntary. You know, I think the guy's in pretty good shape. It'd be one thing if he showed up like Leonard Fournette, but I highly doubt that. You remember Leonard Fournette that year? I think that was after he signed his contract. A little what was he, like 40 pounds overweight? I doubt he's gonna show up like that. Listen, Buck fans, webheads, it's okay. It's voluntary. There's a lot of guys here that that are not here, outside of Hasson Reddick. So I wouldn't be too worried about it.
Well, again, and you're controlling the camera tonight and doing a bang up job, my friend. I think I've taught you well here.
I'm trying.
Louis from the Frozen Pirate podcast. Gotta love that. But this is what Todd Bowles had exactly what he was going to say, and this is according to Joe Bucs fan. I'm sure one of these days we'll see him. So, you know, one of these days we'll see him. It doesn't sound too promising, but again, I would just caution Bucs fans, just relax at this point. It's voluntary. But of course, there have been other players that are not showing up at this juncture. And let me go back out to some of these comments. I said it before. I will say it again. He's a cancer. I talked to Harry off air on this. I think it's going to work out fine. And for me, what I've said is to a lot of Bucs fans, calm down, because again, it's just OTAs. It's voluntary. So he'll show up eventually when he's going to show up. Now, if he doesn't show up for training camp, then that's something we need to start to talk about. But it's not training camp yet. This is just OTAs. But of course, it's not a good optic, and you know people are going to talk about it. As Leo said about a week ago, we have to have something to talk about. So here we are.
I mean,
nice shirt,
real
Louis.
Quickly though,
yes.
Real quickly. I mean, actually, you just stole my thunder. We need something to talk about, and obviously, with his record of, you know, supposedly not showing up, if you will, got traded to the Jets. I just think the guy performed, and I think he just wanted a contract because at the end of the day, like looking into the way salary caps are, the way the salary cap works, looking into like how players' contracts works, they're not guaranteed contracts. The coaches have guaranteed contracts. So I can kind of understand why a lot of these players are doing what they do, but I'm going to keep saying this because Peter, I know how Buccaneer fans are.
Oh yeah.
We blow everything out of proportion. We want to blow the ship up and rebuild again. No. Listen.
That's exactly what we're saying right now. Shut up! The Bucs are already winning 2 games because no Hasson Reddick. There's not like anybody else on this team or this. I told you so. Hasson Reddick is a cancer. Not stealing your thunder here, Harry, but there have been guys online that I converse with, and I've seen, you know, on Bucs Life Media, Bucs Life Facebook post. I told you. There you go. I got you. I got 1 day. Come on. Let's relax here. Let's see what happens. See what transpires. Again, the other players that also missed, and this is from Tuesday morning, Tristan Wirfs, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Levante David, Vita Vea, and again, Reddick were not on the practice field. Luke Gedeke, Michael Pratt were also late arrivals to practice, though Gedeke did his work on the side of the field and Pratt only watched. Again, they're getting major participation. This is what we've heard throughout this whole process, how this team is hungry. We heard this from Josh Grizzard about, you know, how this team has unfinished business, if you will. Baker Mayfield, Graham Barton, Ben Brederson, Cody Mock, Jalen McMillan, Cade Otton, Bucky Irving, Rashad White, Kalijah Kancey, Yaya Diaby, Zion McCollum, and Antoine Winfield Jr., which, some of those names, just about a week. Stay tuned. Maybe on the evolution of Sports Talk Television. I'm not promising it. I'm just telling you, this is what these guys say. We're going to be out there live. We don't know how long it's going to be. We don't know when the players will have some official times, but just keep on watching the evolution of Sports Talk Television. Let's go out to David here. Those other players that are not showing up doesn't have the history like Reddick. I guess that's a fair assessment at this point. New guy on the team should be in class early. Not a good look. We heard from Pitch Grid Pod, says nice shirt, Louie. What's the story from Bucs OTAs you've all been watching? I mean, I don't know what you can gather from it, honestly.
It's guys running around in T-shirt and shorts.
Right.
That's
like,
it.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you could sit here. We could talk about it. I like to get JCA on. JC Allen of Sports Illustrated. He's been out there watching the sights and sounds. But really, we've all been through this with the OTAs. And, it's the main thing is stay healthy. That's what it comes down to.
Yeah, I mean, I did see Tez make a fantastic catch, though. In OTAs. But then again, he made that catch with a T-shirt and shorts on. So, I mean, again, people just stop with the anxiety, if you will. Again, I get it. It's not a good look. As long as he performs on the field and as long as he shows up, that's my main concern. If this guy doesn't report the training camp, excuse me, because I have allergies again. Thank you, Massachusetts.
You have allergies too? Because I just went through that. I feel like it's been
I've never had it in my life. Never.
Listen, this is what happens when you get my age, okay? And I'm not old by any means, but sometimes I feel like 46 years old, got shingles.
37.
Okay, 46, stressed out from the job. By the way, I did a damn good job at Policy Scout today, so I got to pat myself on the back for that.
It can't be that bad, Peter.
I didn't freaking lose my mind. I don't know. I've been focused, but you go through shingles, you're all stressed out, allergies, you'll post nasal drip.
Oh, yeah.
Then I can't talk because
I had that dry cough today. It was brutal.
And everybody's going through it, and I'm like, can you guys just stay at home? Can we just stay at home? Like,
I don't know how it is out there for you guys, but out here, like when allergies come in, like everything is green. Like there's pollen, there's a layer of pollen. Like my Escalade is black.
Yes.
So like that's how I know like the stuff is about to get real because the thing has that little thin layer of pollen. And then when it rains, the ground is green. I'm like, yeah, this is bad.
I got an update, and I got you're the producer of this show because you're kind of taking the pressure off of me, my friend. But Jamie Bly, one of the guys that we had on last week to talk about this, he said all signings and appearances times for next weekend's event posted at sportscornersignings.com. And I wanted to play this. I think I've already kind of played this, so I'm just not gonna play it for right now. It's a commercial about who's gonna be there in case you did miss it. But again, we do have the list. But again, I want you to do me a favor. Go to sportscornersignings.com because the official times are out. And tell me on Friday when we start out with Tristan Wirfs and Levante David what time those guys are gonna be out there, and possibly we'll know when we can get them on the evolution of Sports Talk Television. So go to there and see what happens. Let me go and read the comments really quick. And then again, an open phone lines if you want to talk about your Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Are you concerned about Hasson Reddick not showing up? I get it's one day of OTAs. 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. Let's go out to Christopher Cole. At least he's been in the building. Phase one. Lamar says, everyone that showed up looked great. They're all doing their jobs. Getting diamonds there from Twitter. Thanks a lot for chiming in. This is good. Get Desmond Watson. That certainly is the plan to get him on that Saturday because he's one of the guests that could be on. As Bucs fans, can we at least wait until we get to preseason and training camp before we overreact? The sky is falling. The sky is falling.
The sky's falling.
Go crazy. Let's all go crazy at this point. Go crazy. Let's see.
All right, so I got the time right here.
Okay, give me the times.
All right, so Tristan Wirfs, Friday, June 6th, 2025.
Yes.
6:30 p.m. to 7 p.m.
All right, so 6:30 p.m. to 7:30?
7 p.m.
7 p.m. Okay.
Yep. Then we got Levante David, same day, Friday, June 6th, 7 p.m. to 7:30 p.m.
7 to 7:30.
Yep.
So we're going to see how we have to navigate this. Obviously, they're going to do the signings, but I want to get them on the evolution of Sports Talk Television. So
I got some graphics, too, ready to go.
Yes.
For the show. And
it starts at 2 o'clock. I'm not sure if we can start at 2 o'clock, though. Maybe we'll go a little bit later.
We'll figure it. We'll figure
it out.
Yeah, because like I said, we'll definitely figure this out.
All right. Again, it's fluidity. Leo word right there. So we'll talk with the guys there.
Hey man, shout out to Leo because my vocabulary is starting to like really upgrade. I'm learning new words with him, and I like it.
And here we go. We got it right here, confirmed on Instagram Live. Jamie says show is 2 to 8 Friday. Wirfs to the public 6:30. Levante 7. We can move a bunch of people through that time. They will not leave if anyone is in line. Friday night party at the Tampa SCE. So thank you very much for that right there for confirming it. Any other times on that Saturday?
So Saturday we have John Gruden from 2 p.m. to 2:30.
2 p.m. to 2:30. Okay.
Jalen McMillan, 1:30 to 2 p.m.
All right.
Antoine Winfield Jr., 12 to 12:30.
Wow.
Yep. Kalijah Cansey, 2 p.m. to 2:30.
Huh.
Christian Izzian, 12 to 12:30.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. So that could definitely be a great. What about Jose Canseco? Jose Canseco on the list there?
Jose Canseco is 12:30 to 1 p.m.
Okay.
And then the Brad Johnson is 11 a.m. to 11:30.
And Jamie said everyone will be at the show for a minimum of 2 hours between public time and back room. So there you go.
Yep.
So again, keep on tuning in. We got some times here.
Desmond Watson too, 1 p.m. to 1:30. Bucky Irvin, 2:30 to 3 p.m.
Wow, there you go. It should be a busy day there on that Saturday. Yep. I'm just saying.
Elijah Roberts too, 1:30 to 2. It's gonna be a busy day, man. It's gonna be a very busy day.
Definitely a busy day. All right, and we'll see what times we're going to start and how long we're going to be out there and who's going to be with us. It's going to be me, Harry the Greek, more than welcome. Tampa Bay Ray Kennedy, more than welcome. Leo Haggerty, more than welcome. Anybody else that's joined us here on the evolution of Sports Talk Television. So I like the stories like Gabe Taylor with the Commanders. There's always good stories coming out of training camp. OTA staying healthy, understanding the playbook, getting off to familiarize with a lot of the nuances. Everything is going well. 46 is young as hell, yes, but sometimes I don't necessarily feel young as hell.
Because you got to I got to start giving you a list of supplements to take, man, because I guarantee you some of the things that I'll tell you to take and you get a little exercise regimen going, buddy, I guarantee you'll feel like 30 years old again.
And listen, I got this right now because Jamie is watching as we speak. Jamie Bly is watching on Instagram Live. He's saying Sports Web will be set up in and near the back room where everyone will be. So we will be in the middle of the action. We will have the 4K camera. We'll have all the equipment out there. And I can guarantee you we're going to get some guests on the evolution of Sports Talk Television. So once again, thank you very much, guys, especially Jamie there. For giving us the opportunity to be out there. We'll read the rest of these comments, and I believe we are expecting Mr. Ian Book, Super Bowl winning quarterback last year of the Philadelphia Eagles. Also had some time with Patrick Mahomes in the Kansas City Chiefs, and was drafted 4th round by the New Orleans Saints. Now
his college record is very impressive. 30-3, I believe it was.
30-5.
30-5, was it 30-5?
30-5, yes, sir.
Pretty impressive.
Yeah. I'm almost 29. I still get stressed out and allergies. Yeah, I think we all do. You know, whether it's the food or whatever it is, and you're doing 3 jobs at a time, it is a part of life. You just have to manage it. You have to manage it somehow, some way. Everybody's dealing with stress. You just got to learn how to manage it. AWJ yelled whenever Dean dropped the interception. Come on, Dean. You got to catch that, says Christopher Cole, because that's been an emphasis when it comes to that back end. And that's what you're going to ask, Antoine Winfield Jr. What kind of emphasis has Todd Bowles had on turnovers? And he's going to probably tell you a lot, especially with the 7 interceptions that back end had last year.
That's an ugly number for that defense, Peter. That's a very ugly. They should be honestly, I think my nephew's Pop Warner football team would probably get 7 interceptions halfway through the season.
Probably right. My allergies always kill me in the morning when I get up prior to going to sleep. I'm almost 45, so I know how that is, but I don't look 45. Try to keep it that way. Very cool. Tell you what, we'll hold off on the phone call for right now. Joe Sway, I see you're calling in, but we're about ready to have Super Bowl winning quarterback Ian Book on with us. So I want to keep the phone lines open. We won't take any questions tonight. We may do that sometime in the near future when we have some players on. Louis, don't hate when the pollen just encapsulates your car, and then you go out to drive and you're like,
listen,
I'm going to get hit with all that pollen. Yes. Well, let me read the rest of these comments and hold that thought. Shout out to Louis for the cool content. As always, Sean right there. Ozzy, the sports junkie. Ozzy enjoying the show. Looking for a 3rd ring, Pete. I love it. Absolutely. What's next? Health chat with Leo Haggerty. We may need that because Leo is like, 70, 71 years old, and he's still kicking, man. He's still doing his thing. He may be a lot healthier than I am right now the last 2 months.
He looks good, though. He looks good for his age.
He's always eating right, too. We always eat good when we hang out with Leo Haggerty. You'll know. Wait, where is the function? Kyle says, I'm allergic to pollen, my friend. I think we all have allergies some way.
My girlfriend's got to take a shot every day. I mean, every Tuesday. You
know what I'm allergic to? Bull spit. That's what I'm allergic to.
Bull spit. You like that one, huh?
Mr. Ian Book. Benjamin Morrison played with Book. We'll ask him about that. And y'all keep an eye on the hockey. We absolutely do keep an eye on the hockey. But I got to be honest. I got to be honest with you. Ever since the Tampa Bay Lightning have been eliminated by the Florida Panthers, and the Panthers now look like, are they in the because I haven't even paid, I know they had a big lead over Carolina. Did they move on?
I refuse to watch the Panthers. They look like our little brother, man. They look like
I don't care. I want the Panthers to lose, but then again, everybody's like, well, they're a Florida team. I don't care. Who cares? The Panthers.
That's like saying when the Saints go to the Super Bowl representing the South, we should have because it's the South. No, man, screw that.
Yes.
No.
Yes. All right. Joe Sway says NCAA regional bracket. Let's talk about that. All right. We're college baseball tonight. Tell you what, Joe Sway, you call in when the guest is done. You give me some type of segment on that if you want to talk about it. Because you're always the guy that wants to talk about something that's, and pardon the pun, that's all the way out in left field. So if you want to talk about it, that's go ahead.
In the next galaxy right now.
Well, that's what he wants. He wants to talk about that.
Got to give the people what they want.
Another level. Damn. Yeah, they are. They are. And they look like just not watching it, but watching it.
Hey, little brother grew up. That's how I put it.
Little brother is a defensive nightmare. They're physical. They could score enough.
And they got the rat.
Yeah, exactly. It's 3-1 now. Yes, it is. It is 3-1 now. I thought Carolina survived the other night, but they were just getting completely dominated. Alex, you're going to have to hold off. I know there want calls that want to come in here, but again, we're waiting for our guests to come on. When is the hot dog length contest with Donald Hikwe? Weekway? Wait, I'm being told what has been dead
on the human tripod has
I don't know where you're going with that, Ozzy. That was that SEC fan laugh out loud, and I got you tonight. All right, so we expect that. Want to go out to some of these comments here from Instagram Live, as we have a couple people watching right there.
Shout out to everybody that's watching on Instagram. We'd love it if you just jump on the YouTube channel. That'd be awesome.
Jump on the YouTube channel right there. Want to go out to Levante David because he was talking to John Gruden the other day doing an interview.
Oh, that was a good interview. Very good interview.
Yeah, and they said that he almost actually left the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. In fact, he told Gruden, my first 8 years wasn't going so well. Not a lot of winning going on. That was the point that I did want to leave. The Bucs were making another coaching change, but Jason Light called me. BA, Bruce Arians called me. They said, we want you to be a foundation piece, easy for me to say. Sorry about that. Peach of this turnaround. Ever since then, they did it right. Exactly. Did it exactly that. So there you go. So he was close to leaving. Levante David.
I knew. I had a feeling too that he might have left, and I actually spoke to my former co-host Jamie from around the NFL. I mentioned this. I said I have a funny feeling that Levante David could leave just because of the simple fact it was more of before BA came in, because it was just constant losing, and I said I feel so bad for this dude just because of the simple fact that he is such an amazing player. Like, I got to go full screen on this. Like,
go full screen.
Levante David, hands down, is the most underrated player. Even comparing to Mike Evans, Levante David is the most underrated player in the NFL. I don't care what anybody says. The guy does not get enough credibility. The whole NFL knows about Derrick Brooks. This dude's about to break Derrick Brooks' tackling record for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Why is he not being talked about enough? And I felt so bad for him. But he has such a good soul, and he's such a team-first guy that he decided to come back. And I believe there was another time where he thought about when Baker was kind of coming in, when we didn't have an offensive coordinator or two at the time. I heard Buffalo was in the mix. Buffalo wanted him, and he still stood here. But yeah, it came close, man. But again, Levante David is somebody that dude's a first ballot Hall of Famer, just on and off the field. Just awesome dude.
I agree. I completely agree with that. And he said he has much respect for Light Arians and, of course, Todd Bowles, which a lot of fans don't still respect Todd Bowles. But there you go. There's your defensive leader right there, Levante David, talking about his coach, general manager, and then former coach in BA. Louis is beautiful, man. Killing it, guys. Keep up the great work.
That's my buddy Chris.
Appreciate
it. He's a Giants fan.
He's a Giants fan. Well,
he's a Giants fan tuning in, man. I appreciate that.
We got a friend here by the name of Andrew of the Two Giant Goopballs. He's also a Giant fan, so maybe we'll get some Giants talk out there, because I know there's a lot of Giants fans who are kind of looking at their situation when it comes to that quarterback room and saying, who's going to be the quarterback? It looks like it's going to be Russell Wilson. You got Jameis Winston and Jackson Dart. Can the Giants
improve? Quarterback room, huh?
Yeah, I'm telling you, it's crazy. Demetrius DeBose, gun and safety class is a no-go. Yes, I absolutely, Ozzy. That's a no-go. Louis, you call hosted with Jamie. You call hosted with Jamie from Locked On Bucs.
No, this is a different Jamie. No.
Oh, okay. No. I know what Locked On Bucs is. Levante David definitely needs to get all of his flowers. He's the man for sure. So there you go. So I tell you what, we're waiting for our guest. We will open the phone lines up until our guests come on. Alex, feel free to call in, because I know you want to talk about.
Speaking of that interview.
Yes,
Gruden.
Yes,
I actually tomorrow I have a good take on if while we wait for our guest to come
share
in.
It with me. Share the take. Don't just save him. By the way, the show is on tomorrow night at 7:30 with Leo Haggerty and some other guests. By the way, congratulations, over 1,000 views. Welcome to the Sports Web, my friend. You were excited about what, 800-900 views, and I told you
I was excited about 500. That's what I was. I set the bar low, man. I was excited about 5. And then you messaged me. You were like, "Hey, you're up to like 1,100." I'm like, "No way!" Like, holy crap! Like, hey, but shout out to the webheads out there, man. I appreciate you guys. I keep saying this every week. Thank you for tuning in for that. I mean, that was the second episode here on the Sports Web. Just for you guys to watch and share and stuff like that. Again, I'm going to keep saying it. I appreciate you guys dearly, just because, again, you're making a kid out of Massachusetts his dream come true. I greatly appreciate it, man. And like I said, I don't bring in nonsense. I just bring the facts, man. Like I said, I'm a football realist, and I just try to talk about the Buccaneers the way I see it. I'm not going to sugarcoat stuff. None of that stuff, man. That's just what you're going to get every Thursday.
Oh, listen to this. Professional handicapper extraordinaire of the evolution of sports talk television, Harry the Greek. Welcome to the Sports Web here on a happy hump day. By the way, I got to ask you, I'm not going to ask you what you had to eat tonight. I'm going to ask you what you had to eat on Memorial Day on Monday. Was it hot dogs and hamburgers? By the way, This guy, and I did this about a week ago. I went to his house, hung out. We haven't hung out in a while. Him, Mrs. Greek, Jamie, cheeseburger, and the cheeseburger he made was absolutely friggin' unbelievable. So is that what you stuck with, Harry the Greek, on Monday? Did you eat hot dogs, hamburgers, or did you eat a little steak? What did you do?
Well, it depends. Are we cooking in the South or are we cooking in the Northeast? Which one?
I don't care about cooking in the South. Cook this in the South. How about that?
There you go.
How about that? Cook this in the South. Hold
F
on.
you,
Yes.
F you,
Hold on.
F you, and F you. Peace out. I'm going to go have a Guinness.
That's right, JP.
I'll tell you what
him.
I had.
Yes, go ahead.
I made the most delicious steaks
Okay.
and chicken wings on the grill.
Right.
I made that same exact salad that you had. You have to remember, guys, when you make a salad, the more colorful it is, the better it tastes.
That's right.
And of course, I had some Greek pastries, and I also made something called spanakopita, which is the spinach pie with the feta cheese.
Okay. All right.
Very, very, very nice.
Sounds good. And God bless you with that, because that's what it sounded like when you said that. I had to bless you or something.
You had to bless me.
Yeah, bless you.
Oh,
Yeah,
God
bless-
almighty. Peter, only you, buddy. Only you. You know,
That's clearing up the suck right there.
Oh, I'm sorry. I had to play the
there's stuff that'll color that beard too, buddy. Okay. We'll
Listen,
get
I'm going
you a
to keep
little
it the
younger.
way it is. Okay.
I'm sure you will. By this
with
time next year, everybody take a picture. The beard and the head is going to look identical, white.
Well, that's all right. That's okay. That's all
Cooking
right.
you, man.
Do it gracefully, Mr. Peter Blake. Do it gracefully.
Always, man. Always aging gracefully, my friend. And listen, I think a lot of people prefer it. Maybe not my friends, but the women prefer it, I think. So
It shows experience.
right, exactly. Experience.
You like to call it experience? Oh my God!
Experience
What's it
and
called?
wisdom.
What's it called then?
That's what they call experience.
Experience and wisdom. All right. We got a
Wisdom.
couple of them trickling in there.
There it is, right there. There's the cough out of nowhere. So there you go.
Yeah, I jinxed you.
You did absolutely jinx me. So sorry about that. Hopefully I didn't give you anything when you heard that through the microphone. So Harry, what's on your mind tonight?
I
already
want to
know.
talk about the Tampa Bay Rays. They're going to go to the World Series now. They're
You
back to
shut up and
500.
be
I can't wait.
quiet.
I can't wait for all these people to jump on these bandwagoners all over the
Listen.
place. They want to destroy the team, blow it up, and then
Right.
now they're going back to the World Series.
Well, listen, they have been playing well. They took 2 out of 3 from Minnesota, had an opportunity to win that game last night, didn't score enough runs, and defensively.
I agree.
Right.
No, really, I agree. I
Right.
think they're playing a lot better. But
Right.
the owner sucks, so the team's never going to do
Well,
very much better until they finally get rid of him.
I agree. I completely agree with that. And I definitely think JP Peterson would agree too, right? JP?
F you,
Yes.
F you,
Yes.
F you, and F you. Peace out.
Well,
I'm going to go have a
Well,
Guinness.
we all know that JP is very knowledgeable in this industry.
Yes, he is. Absolutely. And he's, been able to, he was on with Brody Brazil talking about that stadium situation. We'll see how that all plays out because I think everybody's just exhausted. They either sell the team, get something going. Nobody from Pinellas County or St. Pete wants to work with this guy because he walked away from it. I'm just tired of hearing the excuses. Like, get something done, get a new owner. Rob Manfred needs to step in, and we were expecting our guest. We got our guest here, Harry. So do you want to give us a call?
I will let you guys go. Do not torture, a good young man like that from Notre Dame. Okay, just make sure you don't torture the poor guy.
I'm not going to torture him. I promise
Okay?
you. I'm not
Just,
going to do that.
I'll tell you what, Peter. If
Yes.
you can get him to do something live on the air,
Like what?
such as do an Irish jig, it's something that's really common up there at Notre Dame. I'll give you $100.
He's laughing in the background, so maybe he'll do it.
$500 to his favorite charity if he does it.
Well, how about you donate it to the Peter Blake Fund because Peter is a terrible thing to waste. How about that?
Oh my God, you're killing me, Peter. Have a good one, guys. Seriously, tell Ian I said hello. I'd love to be there. I'm Harry the Greek. I approve this message. Have a good one, guys.
Oh, there you go. Harry
Have
the
a good
Greek
one, Harry.
Here, I'm sorry. I just had to do it. I had to get the $500 in my own charity fund. Goes right in my pocket right there. And then we absolutely go from there. Let me go out to some of the comments, and then we will get Mr.
That's like
Ian.
something Paulie Walnuts would do. Remember that episode when he robbed the old lady?
What? He's saying he's going to donate. I know he's going to. He's saying he's going to donate to the quarterback here, but I'm just saying, listen, Harry, if you're going to give some money away, just give it to me. It's my early birthday at this point. Well, Scott Milanovic, Joel Hamilton, I don't know at the event. They will not be there. And Harry the Greek is a legend. All right. And then Jamie goes, Ian is on his way in. Sorry for the delay. That's okay, because it's better late than never. And listen, he's giving his time. He's a Super Bowl champion quarterback from the Philadelphia Eagles last year. Spent some time with the Kansas City Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes. 30-5 is the Notre Dame all-time winningest quarterback in their history. Mr. Ian Book, welcome to the evolution of Sports Talk Television, my friend. How does it feel? Let's start out there to be a Super Bowl champion.
It feels great. Yeah, just being able to get that call at the right time, being ready, going back to a team that I've been on, and then just to get to win in that fashion was awesome. And being able to contribute any way I could was a dream come true, and playing in that game and getting to win this one was awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. And I want to ask you, what do you think was more impressive? I know you're a quarterback, so you may lean to offense there with Jalen Hurts and Saquon Barkley, but the defense was pretty impressive. So in your opinion, in that Super Bowl, what was more impressive from that Philadelphia Eagles, fly? Was it the defense, or was it the offense, in your opinion?
Hard to give just one answer, but if I had to say, I mean, I guess I'll just say the defense. I'm an offensive guy, but I got to give credit there. Just the way they played was amazing. Being able to, hold Patrick Mahomes to anything like what we did is exactly what we were looking for. So I'll go with the defense on that one. It was super impressive. Almost a shutout in my opinion.
Yeah, really. And they got after Patrick Mahomes. We kind of saw that down here. We're a Tampa Bay Sports Talk show here. We watched Super Bowl 55, Shaq Barrett, JPP, Vita Vea, Ndamukong Suh get after Patrick Mahomes, and watching that performance, I think the Eagles, they were right up there or better than the Bucs in Super Bowl 55. And that was saying a lot because, Kansas City, they didn't have a touchdown. I would say they didn't have a touchdown. The only touchdown they had was at TIA at the airport there with their 3 field goals. With that being said, talk about this coach and Nick Sirianni under a lot of pressure the last couple of years. In fact, the fan base wanted him out there. Talk about him. Talk about this offensive coaching staff, and what do you learn from them in that time with the Eagles?
Yeah, I love Nick. Nick's great. Coach Sirianni he's been awesome to me, helping me in my development. But I think he's a great players coach. I think he's readily available for all the guys. He's played himself, so it's always great to learn from somebody who's done it. And he's in the QB room a lot, so I got a lot of time with him, and he's obviously really smart with his X's and O's. And I think I just signed another deal, I'm pretty sure. So he's got a really bright future there in Philly. I bet he'll be there for a while.
And it certainly seems like the locker room supports him. The players supported him. So you got to be happy for him because, again, the outside. And we talked to, former Eagle quarterback Ron Jaworski on this show and saying, it's just hogwash at this point. He's a great coach. Give him a chance. You talked about that quarterback room, Jalen Hurts. Tell me what you learned from him. Tell me how impressed you are with his performance during that Super Bowl and throughout the year.
Yeah, Jalen's been great. He's been great to me, and I think he leads by example. He's the first one in there, and he's the last one to leave every time. He's a fierce competitor, and all he wants to do is win and help the team. And I think he's really proven. I think 2 of his best games ever have been Super Bowls, and that's all you can ask out of a quarterback leading the franchise. So Jalen's got a bright future, and I really appreciate everything that he's taught me.
What's the best thing you learned from Jalen Hurts? What's a key thing? What's the thing that you take with you? What's your quarterback situation right now? Because I don't think you're with the Eagles. There was a report that you may have a tryout with the Denver Broncos. What's your situation right now, Ian?
Right now I'm a free agent, so I'm staying ready, staying in shape, and worked out for the Broncos 2 weeks ago. I've had a few workouts before that as well, so just staying ready for whatever's next, but free agent currently, and waiting for my next opportunity.
All right. And I know I'm jumping around just a little bit here with Jalen Hurts. You also had some time with the Kansas City Chiefs. Is that correct? Did you get a chance to encounter Patrick Mahomes? Go ahead and kind of compare those quarterbacks, Mahomes, Jalen Hurts, if you could, for me, because Mahomes, a lot of people say he's the future GOAT of the National Football League. Of course, Tom Brady being the guy. We'll get into that in just a little bit with who's your GOAT quarterback. But Patrick Mahomes, what did you learn from him? What was it like to spend some time in that quarterback room with him a little bit?
I learned a lot from Pat. Yeah, Pat was great. He took me under his wing as well, and I was just there for a quick bit in the preseason, but just to be in that offense with him and see how he operates his day. One thing I took from him was it was just so obvious how serious he took practice. The moment it started and he crossed those white lines, he was ready to go. And he practiced like he's the best quarterback. And, that shows on game day. Supremely confident and, is close with all of his teammates, hanging out with everybody. And I think it brings the team closer. So Pat's amazing. I think he's great. And obviously just the arm angles and everything he does as a quarterback is all on top of the way he prepares. So he does it all.
We're on with Super Bowl winning quarterback Ian Book from the Philadelphia Eagles last year. Of course, gets drafted by the New Orleans Saints in the 4th round. We won't say that. We did say it because, of course, we're a Bucs show here, so Saints and everything like that. But you talked about the arm angles. Do you see yourself kind of trying to emulate, if you will, some of those quarterbacks in the league? And does your quarterback coach say, no, don't do that? That's for Pat. What does that do? You ever do some of the stuff that Jalen Hurts or Patrick Mahomes, especially Mahomes?
It's funny. A lot of quarterback coaches will say, hey, you can try it if you can do it too, but it better be completed. You better complete it. So, but they do joke around. I mean, those are great guys to learn from. So why not try and just improve all parts of the game? And I do think a lot of the coaches joke around, though. If you're going to do it, it better be completed.
Now, look, you came from Notre Dame. You're 30-5 there, winningest Notre Dame quarterback in their history. Kind of talk about that, and also give me a memory from college, your best memory playing for the Fighting Irish.
Yeah, choosing Notre Dame and going to Notre Dame for 5 years, best choice of my life. Just being able to play with some awesome talent, great coaches, and go to a university that is truly different than most universities. Just a winning culture here, a lot of tradition, and it was fun to be a part of that. I think if I had to pick favorite game, it would be when we hosted number 1 Clemson. I think we went to 4 overtimes and beat them, and it was a COVID game, so that adds a little twist to it. But we had about half the stadium full, so it was really awesome, and I can only imagine what that would have been like if it was not COVID.
How different is that with the COVID game? Because you're watching it on TV. We watched it. We witnessed it with the Bucs winning Super Bowl 55. They go to New Orleans and the Saints that year there. It's basically empty. How difficult is it to play in that type of atmosphere, Ian, when it's going on like that?
It was different. Just having half the stands, everyone's in masks. I remember our AD put out a statement, or I don't know who it was, but they put out a statement saying nobody rush the field, please, COVID, and then everyone rushed the field. So it was a weird night, but it was like we were all celebrating. It was kind of cool during such a crazy time to kind of have that moment with our team and with our fans where everything felt normal again.
All right. Yeah, Brian Kelly is a coach. He just got done developing Jaden Daniels. We talked to him a couple years ago at the Outback Bowl, or not the Outback Bowl, but the ReliaQuest Bowl. How he was saying when Jaden Daniels comes into the building, he's going to command it. Talk about playing for him. What did you learn from Kelly? And are you surprised? I get it. He's had success at Notre Dame, LSU. Are you surprised that he's not in the NFL? And do you think eventually he may end up in the NFL? Talk about Kelly and his influence on you at Notre Dame.
Yeah, he was great. Coach Kelly was awesome. Just giving me a chance. I really appreciate him for giving me a chance and always motivating me. I thought he did a great job of always being in the quarterback room and making sure everything was going smoothly. And I don't know if he's ever thought about NFL, honestly. I think he could do it, but I think he's a great college coach. And obviously, his record speaks for itself, and everywhere he goes, he wins. So I plan on him doing that at LSU as well. And I think he did such a good job with Jaden Daniels, and that's showing his rookie year was pretty special.
What do you think when you watch Jaden Daniels? Because, of course, he was in that conference there. I mean, how tremendous, how surprised were you? Because we weren't really surprised. But, again, you kind of have to look back and say he was a rookie He's doing all this. He's leading his team all the way to the NFC Championship game. He's having success. He's not having, those falls as a rookie as every quarterback goes through. How surprised were you with Daniels in that progression for the Commanders this year?
I definitely liked him. I thought he was good coming out, and I thought he was going to do well, but he definitely surprised me in how well he did. I think his poise is amazing. I got to see him play live in Philly when we played them, and his poise for a rookie is honestly pretty rare. I haven't seen it like that in a while. He's got total command of all his teammates. Like I kind of spoke about with Mahomes, he can, manipulate all of his arm angles, and I think he's just a true competitor. And when he can use his legs like that and become, one of the best runners on the field while he can throw, things get a little scary for the defenses. So I expect him to have another great year, and I think he's a beast.
Yeah, he's definitely a beast around with Super Bowl winning quarterback Ian Buck here of the Philadelphia Eagles, Kansas City Chiefs, and of course the Saints. Go back to the draft process. You're a fourth-round guy, but you'll go back to the anticipation. You're coming out of Notre Dame. You're going to the Saints. You get an opportunity. Doesn't necessarily work out so well there, but kind of talk about the Saints and that whole drafting process. Kind of take us behind the curtain, if you will, getting drafted by the New Orleans Saints.
Definitely a dream come true. Been dreaming of the NFL draft my whole life. Been playing football since I was 8 and have watched the draft every single year. So when it happened to me, it was just an awesome, surreal moment. Got to spend it with friends and family. And to go to the Saints, I was stoked. I mean, Sean Payton, again, his record speaks for himself, but I was just pumped to go to a team where Drew Brees has had so much success as a shorter quarterback. That was something I was fired up about. And it was a great first year. Obviously got that one start. Wish I could get that one back, but that was a tough game with COVID. But was able to go out there swinging. So it was an awesome moment. And, would have loved to stay there longer, but things work out the way they do, and was able to get claimed by Philly.
Yeah, get claimed by Philly, and it definitely worked out. And to your favor there, you go and you try out for Sean Payton, the Denver Broncos. Do you kind of go back to Sean and say, hey, Sean, remember me? Come on now. Come on.
Exactly.
Remember this guy? Listen, you said that you watched the draft since you were 8 years old. I've been watching football since I was 8 years old, so I remember the draft. Also, what's your favorite draft memory? Is it about a quarterback? Is it about a situation? Is it the Mel Kiper blow up there on ESPN versus the Cole? What is it for you?
If I couldn't say my own call, obviously that was surreal when the phone was ringing and they said, hey, this is the New Orleans Saints. That was nuts. But honestly, probably would have been watching one of my teammates go maybe in the first round. I remember, being at Quentin Nelson's, draft party. And I think he went top 10, and that was insane, just being there for that moment and thinking, really just being like, wow, this is something that we all want to work towards. And we're just a couple years away from our own draft. So that was probably a cool moment for me.
Yeah, you talked about Nelson. I believe he went number 6 overall to the Indianapolis Colts. And I know a lot of Bucs fans wanted him as a guard. They didn't get him, of course. Talk about Nelson as a teammate. How much did he mean to you there at Notre Dame?
Quentin's great. Q was awesome. He's, I've got some really fond memories with him of him just being such a supportive vet on the team. I remember being young, and the Citrus Bowl we played in on New Year's, we won with a one-handed catch by Miles Boykin. And I remember Quentin Nelson coming to my room before there was like a team after party, and he basically said, hey, thanks for stepping up. Like, you've been practicing that way and staying ready for your moment, and you've now done it. And I just thought that was pretty cool to do that as a vet on the team. So that was probably one of my most fond memories with him. But other than that, he is a freak on the field. I can picture so many clips of him at Notre Dame just absolutely mauling people. So I knew he would have success in the NFL, and I wish him nothing but the best.
Yeah, offensive lines are always the best friends of the quarterback, right? I mean,
That's true.
So, Louis, you want to jump in here? You got a question?
Of course. I got a couple of questions for you, Ian.
Okay. All right.
So your time with the New Orleans Saints, you got drafted. I got to ask you, especially for all the Buccaneer fans out there, what was Buccaneer week like for you guys? Like, what was the attitude? What was the vibe like? Because you guys obviously owned the Bucs for a while. What was that like for you?
I'm trying to remember the games that year. I remember when you first, I think this would have been my first year, you guys came to New Orleans.
Hmm?
I don't remember the score, but I think we won that one.
Oh yeah, I remember that one.
Was it when Jameis got hurt, or was that the following year?
I think
That's-
that was I want to say
definitely look that up.
2021. I think
Okay.
if it was
So that would've been it.
2021, that was Brady's first year with the Buccaneers, right? Am I not mistaken? No, 2020 was Brady's first year.
2020 was Brady's first year.
Okay, so it was the second year. So yeah, he's right. Jameis did get hurt.
Yeah. So I remember that, and I remember Trevor Siemian going in and leading a game-winning drive. So that was something I'll remember forever because Trevor's one of good buddy of mine, and was fired up that he was getting an opportunity, and he went in there and did a good job. But you can just, I'll tell you, being a rookie in New Orleans, I could tell that rivalry was the real deal. A lot of guys don't like each other, and that's the way it is. But it makes for a great rivalry with two good fan bases. So I do remember my first game against Tampa.
What was the most hostile place outside of Philadelphia? Because we all know how Philadelphia
Yeah,
is.
it's probably Philly.
Outside of Philadelphia, what would you say was probably one? You can talk about college too if you want. What was
in the NFL, I
most
would say
toughest
probably,
place?
Yeah, in the NFL, I would say probably playing in Seattle. My rookie year, it was like raining and it was dark and it was loud. And then I remember 2022 in Philly, we went to Detroit. And Detroit shocked me, just being in a dome like that, and it was loud. I couldn't hear anything. So and then obviously, I've never at Kansas City's pretty loud. I mean, I was only there for preseason games, and it was loud. So I'd probably say that as a top three.
Nice.
Talk about Jameis here. Jameis is a teammate. Talk about him as a teammate, because of course, a lot of Bucs fans very familiar with him. Number one overall pick didn't necessarily work out.
Very loud.
Still, unbelievable, attitude. Give us your thoughts on Jameis Winston.
I love Jameis. Jameis has been great to me. So supportive. Is always readily available. I was always asking him questions. He took us to Miami for, team workouts. I've worked out with him before and his personal trainer. He was always inviting me to things. So I always felt that was pretty nice of him. But great leader, can get everybody's attention, can communicate with, everyone in the locker room, no matter who it is. And I think he's funny, as everybody knows. So he always brings a good attitude to practice. And it's obvious why he's had success in this league for so long. So fired up for him in New York. But I honestly, he was really a big deal for, part of my development early on in the NFL.
I thought he was hilarious during Cleveland with that first snow game. He'd never seen snow. That was his first game, and just watching him run around the field, he was like a little kid. I mean, I'm from Massachusetts, so that I don't like that white stuff. But watching him play in that the first time, I think is really cool. I got to ask you too, real quickly. So the Buccaneers just drafted somebody, a kid named Benjamin Morrison. What do you know? And what do you think about the pick, and how do you think he's going to fit with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers?
Yeah, I've met Ben, I think, once or twice now, being up here at Notre Dame. I mean, his tape speaks for itself. He is always in the right position. I think he's smart, aggressive. I think it's a great pick. I was fired up when he got picked for you guys, and they, from what I hear, like I said, I've only met him a few times. They just say he's a professional, and he was acting that way early on in college, which is going to translate to the NFL and be awesome. He's always treated college like, it's super important, like it is. He's been wanting to play in the NFL for a long time, and I think he took everything really seriously. So I think you guys are going to get a total professional.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. We're on with Super Bowl winning quarterback Ian Book here on the Sports Web. I'm your host, Peter Blake, along with Louis from the Frozen Pirate podcast. We kind of talk about the greatest of all time. Everybody says Tom Brady. In your opinion, is it Brady and everybody else, or is there somebody else that you think is the greatest of all time? Some people say Peyton Manning. What do you say here, Ian?
Yeah, I think it's Tom, but I think everyone's got their top 3 or top 5 guys, and Tom's in those for both, in that group for both of those groups for me. But picking one GOAT's always hard, but I would say Tom.
Now, who are the others here? Because you have free reign here.
No, you can only have one, man. There's only one GOAT.
He said he had a list of quarterbacks. So
you can have a GOAT. There's the greatest of all time, and then you have your elite players.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. Your elite quarterbacks.
I have the GOAT but I was thinking I always have a top 3 quarterbacks that I like to watch. Or, every quarterback's got a few guys that they like to watch and try to, copy their game and take some of their tools and make it, put it in your tool bag.
Who are those quarterbacks?
I think for me right now, it's Matt Stafford is one of them. Just getting to play him live in a snow game. He's a great quarterback, and I love the way he throws the ball.
Tough too, man. Tough dude.
Yeah, he's pretty good. And then Aaron Rodgers, I've always been a huge fan. Just the way he spins the ball, his total mechanics. I think he's one of the best throwers of the football ever, and he's someone I love watching. Again, someone with great poise. My third's probably Pat. Love watching Pat. Just the way he plays the game, and how he's a mobile quarterback like I try to be as well. So I try to take some of his game.
You watch the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We know you watch other teams, of course. The talk is down here about Baker Mayfield. Give me your thoughts on Baker Mayfield, his game the last couple of years, especially last year. 41 touchdowns. He does have 16 interceptions. And the weapons that you have here with Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, of course. But first, talk about Baker Mayfield and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
I really like Baker. I've been watching Baker's tape since early on when he was, in college at Oklahoma. I've been watching his game. I actually think Baker was my NFL comparison when they do the draft stuff. So I like the way he plays, and I think he's proven that he is, one of the top elite quarterbacks, and he's done it everywhere he's been. He's always put really good tape together, and I think just getting more comfortable in Tampa Bay for him, he's only going to get better. So throwing to Mike Evans is always fun too.
Absolutely. And of course, Mike Evans and the New Orleans Saints, that rivalry in itself, getting the 1,000 yards there with the Jerry Rice record against the Saints. A lot of people went crazy for that.
Bittersweet.
Yeah. Well, absolutely. Absolutely. So what do you take from Baker Mayfield? Because it seems like you do take some things from do quarterbacks do that first and foremost? Because it seems talking to you, take something from a quarterback, you try to emulate that. What do you take from a Baker Mayfield?
From Baker, I take the toughness part. I think the way he plays the game with that moxie and that swagger that he has running around and lowering his shoulder, where it might not be the smart move every time, but he does it for, the juice and getting his team fired up and letting his boys know that he's giving it his all. So that's why I like Baker. I tried to do that in college. I always tried to get up quick and show the guys that, it's a tough game and I'm ready for it. And I think Baker shows that, almost on every drive. I think he's got a great energy for the game. And that's what I take from his game.
Yeah, that's what a lot of Bucs fans love about him. Of course, we've heard coaches say, you need to live to fight another day. Don't try to truck stick a Barry Wagner there in the playoff game against the Commanders. I mean, you got to love that. The guy just he goes
smooth.
Yeah,
I saw that, I was a little nervous. I was like, oh, boy.
Ahead. Third down, fourth down, that's a quarterback right there. And he's a short quarterback. He's another guy that's a short quarterback.
Well, he's feisty. And that's why the team, I feel like that's why a team will get behind him and they rally behind him because he's not afraid to lower the shoulder, especially on a big-time playoff game and you need 7 yards, he'll go out and go get 10, And I feel like as a teammate, you can respect that about a guy. You have a lot of quarterbacks that wouldn't do that. But he wants to keep the play alive. And kudos to him, man. Like I said, he's a dog.
100%.
Definitely is, Ian. We do appreciate the time. We know that you're going to be out at the Tampa Sports Collectors Expo, which you're going to be there on Saturday, the July 7th, or excuse me, June 7th, not July. That would be a long time. June 7th there, along with all those guests out there. You have anything you want to promote, say here on the Sports Web? Because we love to have you back to talk quarterbacks. So you don't necessarily just have to talk about yourself. You can talk about other quarterbacks if you want to. We love that. We talked to a guy by the name of Seneca Wallace, who's a quarterback coach there for the St. Louis Battlehawks of the UFL. We have him on here. He talks quarterback. So anytime you want to come back on the evolution of Sports Talk Television, you let us know, okay?
Sounds good. Thank you guys for having me. No questions, but always willing to talk QB play. So
love it.
Man. Appreciate
Good
it.
stuff. Ian Book, Super Bowl winning quarterback. Congratulations to you. Of course, a part of the Philadelphia Eagles and Kansas City Chiefs there, and the winningest quarterback in Notre Dame Fighting Irish history, amazing stuff there. Appreciate the time here on the Evolution. All right, my friend.
Cool. Thank you, guys.
All right, good stuff there. So he's out of there. So how about that? You know, talking about Baker Mayfield, talking about Patrick Mahomes and Jalen Hurts.
Man, he's the kid. Like watching him at Notre Dame, he was very impressive, man. He like pretty impressive what he did. Impressive what he did.
Absolutely, 30-5 in college football. I was gonna ask him about NIL. What does he think about the state of college football right now? But I
got to get him back on another time.
Yeah, we're talking to him all night long. You know, I'm all about, you know, trying to, you know, get something different. You know, talk to these players, take you inside a little bit, not just.
You know what I got to start doing? I got to start asking that one question at the end.
Yes.
Because obviously we try to preach the positivity and stuff like that. I wanted to ask him about what his greatest memory was at Notre Dame. Also, any young up-and-coming quarterbacks that are in high school, what are some things that they should be doing? Because he's there, you know. But maybe next time, you know, when he comes back on. Because I think that's very important for the younger generation to hear, you know what I'm saying? So,
all right, let me go ahead and go out to Joe Sway here. Mr. Joe Sway, welcome to the Evolution, leading off here on the Sports Web on a Happy Hump Day edition. What's up, man?
All right, what's good, Louis? What's good?
What's up?
What's good, man? You're killing me with the excitement.
Right.
You got
me a little nervous because he was like, "What's good, Louis?" Like he was getting ready to like go at me.
Yeah, well,
Did I say something?
I'm ready for the smoke.
What smoke? What are you talking about here?
So listen, it's interesting that you just mentioned that. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you just fine. Go ahead. Okay. Yes, sir. Go ahead.
It's interesting that you mentioned you wanted to talk to that Ian guy about college football, state of college football, NIL.
Ian Book, yes.
Well, here I have for you a state of the college baseball world because that's important too.
That's important. Okay. All right. So what's the latest on college baseball? Here we go. Go ahead.
So the bracket. So we had selection Monday the other day, and I wasn't available to come on Monday.
Well, I wasn't on Monday either. I was filling my face with hot dogs and hamburgers at this point and everything else. So I wasn't
decided to take the day off.
I took the day off.
It'd be all right.
Then it would have been crickets.
Yeah,
that's what it would have been. Pretty much.
All right, I did not know that. I was out busy as well, enjoying the holiday as well. But okay, so they have a field of 64, just like in college basketball. Field of 64 is out, but the difference is that you have 16 national seeds. And I'll read off the 16 national seeds, and let's see if your school is on this list, Louis and Peter. So starting with number 1, you have Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt is, you know, undoubtedly one of the best teams, best programs in college baseball, headed by Coach Tim Corbin up in Nashville. Good program there. 2, Texas, the Longhorns. Okay, you got number 3, the Razorbacks from Arkansas. So listen to the theme here. So you have Vandy and Arkansas, and Texas actually. And then 4, you have Auburn. What do they all have in common?
What do they all have in common? What do they got?
In the South?
SEC.
Well, yeah, SEC. I mean, it's all across any sports, whether it's, you know, football, basketball, in this case for you, baseball. I'm not really surprised by it.
Don't say in
I
this
gotta
case.
ask you guys though.
Come on now, don't do that. Don't do that.
What?
I'm trying to connect everyone else too. Okay, come on now.
What you said to me, what's the difference? And I told you there's no difference. You got baseball, basketball, and football. It's all about SEC at the end of the day, right?
But you said for you, baseball, you added that in. Kind of like I'm the only one that cares here. But anyways, 5 is North Carolina.
No, I don't think I said that. I said for this situation, it's baseball that you're talking about. So it's SEC. Okay. That's what they have in common. I wasn't taking a shot at you. Relax, man.
Okay. All right.
Relax.
All right. That's slide. All right. I got you.
Let's slide.
6, so UNC number 5. And I think they have the toughest draw out of any of the 16 national seasons because in their region, they have the Sooners, Oklahoma Sooners. They got Nebraska, and they got Holy Cross, who as a mid-major, Holy Cross, they're pretty good. They're a pretty good team. So I don't know if UNC is going to make it out of that regional.
Right.
LSU is 6. Georgia is 7. Oregon State is 8.
Mm-hmm.
Florida State is number 9. The Seminoles, Florida State Seminoles. They
Yes.
got Northeastern, Mississippi State, and Bethune-Cookman, which that should be a cakewalk for Florida State to advance to the Super Regionals,
Right.
which is the round of 32, I believe.
Right.
Okay. 10 is Ole Miss. 11, Clemson. 12, Oregon.
Okay.
13, Coastal Carolina. Who
Coastal
had
Carolina. Yes.
in their bracket field.
Okay.
You know,
All right.
there's some sort of a Cinderella story
Mhm.
in college baseball.
Sure. Why are they Cinderella story? Educate me.
So, they're a mid-major.
Mhm.
They're not they're not in a Power 5 conference,
Right.
and they have a knack. And I believe they have won the whole thing not too long ago,
Right.
several years back. I don't know if you know, they actually won it all. And so like they have always been one of those like mid-major, like Cinderella type stories that would go to all the way to Omaha, and you know, at one point they won it all. So that's why I say that they're pretty much a Cinderella story.
Okay.
And they have the Gators in their region. They have Florida, East Carolina, and Fairfield. So they got a tough draw, because Florida, even though they have had a down, quote unquote, down season compared to recent memory, because the Gators are one of the top teams in college baseball. I think that they might have a shot to go back to Omaha, even though that their club this year didn't have a great record in conference play.
Okay.
And overall is hovering around 500.
All right.
So, but just to round out the top 16 seeds, 14 is Tennessee, the defending national champion, Tennessee Volunteers.
Are they going to win it all this year? You got to give me something here. Got to land this plane, because we got more people that want to call and talk about the
A
Bucs.
lot of turbulence.
Gotta land
So
this,
I don't
land the plane.
think Tennessee has a strong group to win it all again this year. But you never know. Baseball's a weird game, especially in the college game. You never know what you're gonna get.
All right, you went all Forrest Gump on me there,
UCLA,
Josue.
15 UCLA and 16 Southern Miss.
All right,
You never
So,
know what's
you
going
have
to
you have to update me on that. You got any? You want to talk about the Rays or the Bucs or anything else, or just college baseball tonight for you?
Well, I was gonna try and do a second call on the Rays.
All right, do a second
I'll
call
talk
on the
about it.
Rays then. Do a second call on the Rays. All right.
Yeah, but basically, my national champion this year, I'm gonna go with Arkansas.
All right.
I think
Why Arkansas?
Their pitching is very deep.
Okay.
Their lineup is from top to bottom one of the best lineups in not only the SEC but the whole country. And I don't know. I just think that it might be one of those years that like an Arkansas or like a Georgia or someone, you know, one of those SEC schools that were always the bridesmaid, never the bride.
Right.
They might be the bride this year.
All right. Good stuff, Josue. We appreciate the call, man, as always. All right.
I appreciate it.
All right.
Thank you.
All right. College baseball talk. And he wanted college baseball talk. He was giving me college baseball talk. Are you intrigued by that?
I don't really pay attention too much about college baseball stuff,
like
man.
I now have to go do some research and
Yeah, me too. Now I gotta look up the bracket, the full bracket.
Great stuff, guys. Apologize for the tardiness. Hey, man, we appreciate it again, Jamie. Thanks a lot for everything that you've done for this show here the last couple of weeks. We love the interviews here. You know, more players, no matter where they're from, former or present. We love that here on the Evolution of Sports Talk Television. David says, honestly, I think you're the only one who cares. Well, you know, David, we give the opportunity to talk about what you want to talk about over phone line, 727-255-0391 at 727-255-0391. Nothing gets the listeners going like someone reading a college baseball bracket. So there you go. Well, he was getting going. He wasn't bad. So with that being said, right now, David also talked to Mina Kimes about being doubted because according to JC Allen of Sports Illustrated, he posted the Pro Football Focus, and guess where Levante David was listed in the top 10 there for linebackers? Zero.
I don't even want to know.
Zero, man. Zero. Once again,
That's crazy.
disrespect by Pro Football Focus and the NFL in general.
I don't know, man. See, stuff like that just makes me not want to pay attention to Pro Football Focus and stuff like that. Again, because what do I always say? I'm a football realist. It doesn't matter. I don't care if the best linebacker played for the Saints. I'm going to say, hey, this guy's the best linebacker because of A, B, and C. Levante David is one of the greatest linebackers of this decade. I don't like the stats don't lie. The dude is still playing at a high level. Why he doesn't get the respect, I don't get it. I don't understand. What else does this guy have to do? Does he have to get 15 sacks this year? Even would that get him noticed? Probably not. I just don't understand what the issue is. And honestly, I really do think it's coming down to this stupid statistic, and that's the Pro Bowl. The Pro Bowl's been irrelevant to me for about 15 years now.
Yeah.
It just so if we're going off Pro Bowls, then
well, I mean, I don't understand it. I don't get it either.
I just don't. I don't get it. I don't understand it.
This is what he told Mina Kimes here about the Bucs being doubted. We're always doubted. We never being picked to make the playoffs or whatever, but somehow we always end up in the thick of things at the end of the season. I guess people just don't like us. I don't know why, man. We're a humble organization. We got a lot of great players. It's good, though. It's good. We like having the underdog mentality. That is who we are. We have a bunch of underdogs on our team. A lot of guys with a tremendous amount of talent, with a lot of guys with a lot of heart who battle week in and week out with each other. And that's the reason why Baker Mayfield is a direct reflection of that locker room, because we've heard it time in and time out. The guy plays with a chip on his shoulder.
I just still don't get it, Peter.
I don't either, man.
Being honestly, not to bring up the Patriots, but I mean, they bring up Julian Edelman all the time. And even the national media will bring him up and say, yeah, he was one of the best. I mean, not really, but I mean, he gets more noticed than Levante.
Right.
Or, I don't understand why players like Mike, guys like Baker, guys like even Kate Otten. Nobody's showing Kate Otten any love. Guys like Chris. I mean, I think Chris is a little bit more popular outside just because of playing with Tom Brady and having all those catches. But I just don't understand why Mike and Levante and a few others, even Antoine Winfield Jr. doesn't get any love.
Right.
I don't get it. But you know what? You just got to go out there and continue proving why you're the best at your position. And Levante David is still playing at a high level.
Right.
Bobby Wagner got trucked by Baker Mayfield.
Baker Mayfield, yeah. There you go. All right. The national disrespect isn't, all for this team. In fact, Daniel Flick says Emeka Ibuka could be the best Bucs rookie. In fact, he says one of the calling cards of Ibuka's pre-draft scouting report was his steady, reliable nature. He's not flashy, but smart, smooth, a nuanced route runner, and a willing blocker. Flick also says Ibuka's traits translate well to an early starting role at the next level, where he can move throughout Tampa's offense alongside Mike Evans, Chris Godwin. All signs point to Ibuka, who played in 49 games over 4 years at Ohio State, making an impact in 2025. And again, it goes back to
He's gonna have to get ready to go, Peter.
Yeah. Well,
he's gonna have to get ready to go because I'll tell you one thing.
A lot about Chris Godwin at this point.
Me too.
But I'm not worried about it. If he says, Jason Light, Todd Bowles, they're expecting him back for week one. We'll see what happens. We'll see if he's in camp. Well, you don't know right now, but that's the reason why you drafted Ibuka in the first place. That's the reason why you're glad you got Jalen McMillan, and of course Sterling Shepard, and of course Tez Johnson, who definitely has an opportunity to make this team as a wide receiver, but also on special teams. That's the reason why you go into the draft and you feel good about this wide receiving room, even if Chris Godwin isn't 100% right away.
these guys are gonna have to step up. I don't think Chris is gonna be ready week 1. I don't know. I don't, and I say that because this is his second major injury. Not saying anything bad about it, but I just definitely do think that they shouldn't rush him back out in the football field just to have him on the football field. You know, I think I'm watching Emeka Egbuka. I mean, we've talked about this. It's only, helmet, t-shirt, and shorts. But I was watching his footwork. Wow. Like, I'm impressed. The kid's got some quickness. He's got good footwork. I'm very excited. I would not be upset if Chris Godwin didn't start week 1.
There you go.
And we just saw Emeka Egbuka and Jalen McMillan and Mike Evans. I think he's really going to come on. And so I do agree with that. I think he could have a big rookie year like Bucky Irvin did. I'll go ahead and call it.
All right.
There's my bold prediction for the rookies.
Bold prediction right there. You think Egbuka has the same type of impact that Bucky Irving has?
I'm going to go ahead and call it. I think just because of I don't think they're really going to defenses. I think he's going to have a really big week 1. If he stays healthy throughout the training camp and preseason, I think he can have a really big week 1. I think he can probably catch 80 yards for a touchdown because they're not really going to respect him. Because we see this with all rookies, though. There's not much game tape on them. You don't really know how to prepare. You just kind of not guess, but you don't have much to go off of from the preseason. So I think he can really, against the Atlanta Falcons secondary too, I think the kid can do some damage.
All right, let's go out to Joe Sway here. I completely agree with you. Super Regional was a round of 16, not 32. My rookie mistake. That's okay. That's the reason why we got you here on the Sports Web to correct that. Reason why I feel that Evans David gets snuffed is because they're quiet. They're not loudmouths. They're not out there causing problems. They're true professionals. They go about their business in a professional manner. They're not divas. That's why I always tell Tampa Bay fans, enjoy this while you have it because you got a true professional Mike Evans. You got a true professional and Chris Godwin. And this is why you get a draft a guy like Egbuka because he's in the same mold as a Chris Godwin, as a Mike Evans. He goes about his business. Nothing flashy, nothing diva-like. He goes about his way, just like Jalen McMillan. You hear nothing, and he had his struggles the first half of the year, and then all of a sudden gets the opportunity in the second half of the year, turns it around. Open phone lines if you want to talk about your Tampa Bay Buccaneers OTAs, any problem with Reddick not showing up, anything you have to say about the Bucs, 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. Also, Rays take 2 out of 3 from the Minnesota Twins. You want to talk about that? We usually have El Bushman on Monday night. We didn't get him on. We wanted to kind of cut this short tonight, so I'm not sure if we're going to get him on tonight. I don't hear a lot of Rays fans. We may just move on to Turnbuckle Talk at this point, but some more Bucs bits here, and then we will move on to Turnbuckle Talk unless you do.
There's a lot to talk about. There's a lot to talk about.
There is a lot to talk about. So we'll make an executive decision right now. We can get El Bushman on to talk some Rays. Do you want to do it or not?
You're the boss, man. Whatever you want to do.
All right. Do you? Well, yeah. I'm asking you at this point because I'm thinking you're going to say yes.
I mean, I really haven't heard too much about the Rays. Nobody's really kind of calling in. I mean,
we should be talking about the Rays at this
point. The big
point.
Popular thing right now is Buccaneers and Hasson Reddick and. Not showing up and, and apparently the ship is sinking because Hasson Reddick's not at voluntary mini camps. Yeah. So,
well, that's
I don't know why.
Lead off. Okay. That's really, so again, fluidity here on the evolution. I sent it to El Bushman. So if he gets it, he comes on. We get him on. If he doesn't,
I will say this though.
No, Leo. I don't know what happened to Leo.
Well, I will say this. Todd Bowles. I have an interesting take tomorrow on tomorrow's show at 7:30 on the Sports Web. Todd Bowles has got to have a really good season with the Tampa Bay Buccaneer defense because not just the defense, but the offense. Everybody's got to really work together, and it's got to be more than 9 wins. I think they really have to. I'm going to be again. I don't want to give it all away, but I will say this.
I kind of feel like where you're going with this, and I don't.
I'm going.
Yeah, I think you're going with you have to you not only have over 9 wins, you have to get out of the first round of the playoffs, or you could be on the hot seat. And I
think we might. I'll go ahead and say it right now. I'm going to go ahead and say it right now. I think if the Buccaneers don't make it out of the first round, I think they're going to make a serious decision. And I think you're going to see a familiar face come back to Tampa. You watch.
All right. Well, stay tuned.
Watch. You know what the familiar face is? I'm not going to say.
I kind of already know.
I'll talk about it tomorrow because he's been in the limelight a lot. And, yeah, we'll see. I mean, it could happen. We don't know. But, I mean, like, I'm not hoping for it. I want the Buccaneers to win a Super Bowl this year. But I'm just saying, if, it's been a lot of stuff. So that, and I'm also going to be talking about how the Glazers really need to open up the books on redoing the stadium. Because, so for a long time, Peter, I kind of like shaded the Buccaneer fans for not selling the ticket. I mean, for selling the tickets, but I kind of understand why. You guys live in Florida. Nobody really wants to be out in the heat more than they already are. So if I'm the Glazers, I think a good thing is to, really get into some stadium, just create some shade, some coverage, man. And I promise you, you'll have a lot more Buccaneer fans on early on in the season. You won't see the invasion of Ray J. I'm going to talk about that, and there's a few other things I'm going to talk about. But yeah, that's tomorrow, 7:30.
Frozen Pirate Podcast Thursday night here on the Sports Web. Love it. Yeah. All right, for those trying to troll me, I bet you won't call in and challenge me. And with all that smoke, Punk's in the comments. All right.
Oh, that was like a shoot for real. I like that.
Shout out to the local college, University of Tampa, Southeastern University, and Lakeland for advancing to their respective Division II NAIA World Series. Tampa is a rich baseball market, that it is, but I know again that Josue, that you want to continue this battle with baseball and football, and I'm going to tell you right now, it's always been I'm not saying there's not baseball tradition here. Okay. All right. So we will have El Bushman on of the Rays Rewind podcast to recap it's been a roller coaster ride of a Rays season. Let's just put it out there, Rays fans. Has it not? I mean, you thought they were pretty much done. You're ready to fire Kevin Cash because Baltimore and the Orioles fired their manager. I hear this. Let's get rid of this guy. Let's trade this guy.
Is it really Kevin Cash though?
It's again the pieces that you have that you're working with at the end of the day. And he's hitting the most. And guys right now are starting to hit. Brandon Lau is one of those guys, 11-game hitting streak, hit a home run today. That's a big part of your lineup. Junior Caminero, that's a big part of your lineup. When you got those guys that are starting to hit, then you start to score runs. And then you've got pitching on top of it. And they could have swept the Twins. They make that defensive play. Maybe it's a different situation. And, being 2-1, maybe the Rays are able to get back in there. But at the end of the day, you tip your hat to Joe Ryan, who pitched his you-know-what off for the Twins. But the Rays had their situations last night where the first two innings, you got men on first and third. You got to score some runs. You can't come up with, absolutely nothing. So we'll talk to El Bushman of the Rays Rewind podcast. If you Rays fans want to talk about your team today, taking 2 out of 3 for the Minnesota Twins, 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. You heard it, right? You heard it?
I heard it.
That is. It's like a shortness of breath.
We're all there, buddy. We're all there. That time of the year, man.
Craziest thing.
Terrible.
It is. And I'm a talker, man. Everybody's like, well, rest your vocalite. Well, I got to talk. And I got to work 8 hours, and then you go 2-3 hours here. And we're trying to cut it down tonight. So we'll see where it goes because we want some reels out of this. I need to put you to work because I need some reels from you.
Well, we gotta ask. Let's put a little vote out there for the audience.
Put the vote out there.
We have a big audience out there that really likes the wrestling. Should we do Turnbuckle Talk in itself one show? I'm telling you. You'd be surprised, man.
I know they want to, but I like it on Wednesday nights. We like it on Wednesday nights. We just got to figure out, we got to cut some segments a little bit shorter. We'll get back to the Bucs in a moment, but let's get out to this guy right here. Of course, our Rays correspondent, Mr. Rays Rewind podcast himself, Mr. El Bushman, as the roller coaster ride that is known of this Tampa Bay Rays team continues. And this week it's an up They take 2 out of 3 from the Twins. Who did they sweep? Because I forgot at this point.
The Blue Jays, America's hat.
America's hat. There you go. Exactly. El Bushman, welcome to the evolution of Sports Talk Television on a happy hump day.
Happy hump day to you, man. Look, did you get some sun? You look like are you sick? What's going on with you?
Who, me?
Yeah, you.
I guess I'm a little bit on.
You got some allergies going on.
Oh, allergies. Oh, I get it.
Yeah, a little bit.
Right.
A little red there. I don't know. I got
a
little bit of sun. A little bit.
Yeah.
Let's zoom in on him. Let's zoom in on him.
Let's zoom in.
Let's
go. Zoom in. Yeah,
I know, huh?
Yeah, you look a little stuffy. You look a little stuffy.
Yeah.
I am a little stuffy, man. I've been trying to deal with this. I was telling people before, I'm 46 years old. I dealt with shingles. And then I dealt with allergies, and then it's been sick, and it's been kind of going on here in the house and at work. Everybody's coughing, and they got the mung and the flu, and nobody wants.
You got to take turmeric, buddy. That anti-inflammatory turmeric, 1,500 milligrams, infused with black pepper. You can get it at Walmart. I would recommend you order it on Amazon. Just watch who you're getting it from.
I would just drink a hot toddy, man. Just drink a hot toddy.
Yeah, you can do that too.
I've been doing the hot
whiskey to kill all the germs.
I need something because the hot tea and honey, they ain't working at all. That's not.
I'm telling you, you got it. I'm being serious. I take the wife is a nurse, so I know these things, right? So she tells me to take turmeric and all these other things, and I take it, and I don't really get sick like that anymore. Before I would get sick like 3 or 4 times a year. Now it's down to 2 times. I stopped taking the turmeric and I went back to being sick again like a couple of times a year. But I'll tell you what, that is a game changer. It's anti-inflammatory.
I just pop an edible and then I'm okay. Like,
I can't do the edibles, man. That thing turned on me many moons ago, and I was done with that.
That's what I need to do, guys. I need to pop an edible.
Pop an edible. You'll feel fine in about an hour.
Do the sports web. Do the edible right on it, and see how
I would pay to see that. You take an edible.
I tell you what, Pete. If you do it, I'll do it with you. I'll do the sports web with you. Eye on an edible.
I don't think that's going to work out very well because
you have your best show ever.
Oh yeah,
have your best
dude.
show.
I will produce everything. You don't have to worry about nothing.
The last
you don't
time
have to worry about nothing. We used to record all walks of life. Believe it or not, when we first started doing that show early on in the stages, forgive me, everybody. We used to So the show started off as a couple of people getting together. Why you became a fan of the team? What do you like about the team? Uniforms, what they should bring back, stadium, everything about your team that you liked. So the first few people that we had on there, we decided to and I was really big on this. I was like, hey, this is it. This is going to be a good show. We decided to have a few beers to start off and a few magical mushrooms, if you will. And it winded up turning into like a 3.5-4 hour podcast, and I still have it. I will not release it ever. It's just for my liking only and the people that were involved, because the things that it went from high, and then all of a sudden low, like you're sad, and then all of a sudden you come right back up, we're happy, and then it's just like, yeah, we're not.
That's kind of like Rays fans with the way this team is played. I mean, we're hearing about Kevin Cash possibly being fired because Baltimore fired their manager and just 2 years removed from being AL manager of the year. So fire Cash, fire everybody, get rid of everybody, and then all of a sudden, what happens?
It's a new week. That doesn't happen anymore. It's the fire Cash is no. You start winning again. Everybody goes, oh, you don't have to fire Cash anymore. So I don't know what transpired in the past week. I know the Miami series was a bit of a downer and whatnot, but I think coming home and sweeping the Blue Jays and then taking 2 out of 3 against the Twins, especially against a former top prospect of ours in Joe Ryan in today's 5-0 victory was. Look, it's have they started to figure out playing it at the Big Stein? I think they have. I hope they have. I mean, they've been looking pretty well, and they're starting to. I know it's a cliche, like figure it out, but I think they maybe have. But I don't want to like toot my own horn and say, oh, this they're now going to make a run for it. They're playing good baseball, and I think that's what everybody is happy about, is seeing them play good baseball. And what's good about it is, from watching the Blue Jays series and watching the series against the Twins, there wasn't really anything much to nitpick at, except for when Cash pulled Littell in the seventh. I think he was at like 70 pitches or whatever, and he hit the batter, and then Cash decides to pull him. But I think everybody should know by now that's the Rays MO. There hasn't been a Rays pitcher that's pitched a complete game in a very long time. So,
right.
But I think after these 2 series, it's like, okay, this is good. This is what we've been wanting to see. Is this team look like this? With the offense really gelling together and guys that we've kind of given up on. Danny Jansen's been hitting the ball well. Brandon Lau's been hitting the ball well. Like, everybody has been hitting the ball well, and that's something. Hopefully, that's going to translate into this road trip against the Astros this next weekend, and then coming back and playing the Texas Rangers, who always give us trouble. Either at home or away. So, translating, I want to see more of what we just saw. That's what I want to see, and I think that's what everybody's seeing. And what we just got done recording a new episode of the Rays Rewind podcast, which will drop probably tomorrow morning. What we discussed on that too is, we had talked about, they're addressing the areas that they need to address that are the weak spots, like the catching position. The Rays made a acquisition today by getting Matt Theus from the Chicago White Sox to be the backup catcher, which means Ben Rorvet is DFA'd. He's no longer be the backup. So you're getting a quality backup for Danny Jansen now. They picked up Kyle Gibson for a minor league deal to add depth to the bullpen probably down the road. So they're making those small little things to say, okay, we're serious here. We're not just, ticky-tacking it around and playing 500 ball. We're trying to make a run for the postseason. Obviously we're past the Memorial Day, check mark, but we're almost halfway to the halfway mark at the trade deadline and the All-Star break too. So this is what I've been wanting to see. And I think they'll probably still continue to make moves. Now, obviously you've got guys coming back up. Ha-Seong Kim is probably going to be coming up pretty soon. Jake Mangum is going to be probably available for the Houston series, so somebody's got to go. And then I think Drew and I discussed that Christopher Morel is probably going to be the odd man out, probably in a trade somewhere. I know there's a few teams that need a left fielder, so maybe we'll get some value out of him. And yes, Rays fans, that trade didn't work out for Isak and Christopher Morel. It didn't work out. So just bite the bullet, and just take it what it is if that happens. But I think what we saw today is man, this team could be really good when they're on, and hopefully we'll see more of that. Hopefully down the road the next couple of weeks and be consistent. And I think that's what everybody wants to see, is just more consistency out of this team. Is okay, we want to see that. This is what we want. This body of work that we've seen for the past week is what we want to see. So hopefully going forward we'll see that.
Absolutely. And it starts with Brandon Lau for me. 11-game hitting streak here, hitting the ball out of the park. Today has done it. I thought it would be somewhat of his playground, if you will, with the short porch there in right field. Talk about Lau. I get it. Defensively, not very good. Routine play, rushes it there. 3-1 Twins. It changes the game because at that point it's 2-1. And defensively, Lau is good. The Rays are good, but last night they weren't. Today he makes up for it. Talk about his play on the field, at the plate, and of course defensively for this team.
I think the on the plate is the lot of talk that everybody's wanting to see is the power that we've seen and if him in past years. And if he's on this hot streak right now, look, let it continue, man. That's the Brandon Lau we want to be seeing. And I think maybe having Josh Lowe back is helping out. Maybe having the Lowe and Lau paralegals back in the lineup helps too as well. So I think one thing that we maybe need to talk about is the adjustment that Curtis Mead has made to his swing. Curtis Mead had a 7-game hit streak going into today or yesterday. So the adjustments that Curtis Mead has made too has maybe saved his job. So I think that's also a positive note too. But when it starts with Brandon Lau, I think it transcends over to everybody else. And Junior Caminero has been hitting the cover off the ball. Jonathan Aranda, another guy that's probably going to make the All-Star team. Hopefully there's a second spot for Junior Caminero too as well. So I would love to see those two guys represent the Rays if the Rays get a second spot. Obviously it's probably not going to happen, but Brandon Lau is a guy I've been hard on too. Especially with the lack of offensive production, the past couple of years. But, this is a good sign. I mean, like I said, this is the consistency that we want to see. And if he's on a hot streak, good. Let's continue to ride the hot streak while we can. I hope he doesn't cool off, but whatever adjustments they have been making to these guys' swings, it's definitely paying off because they've been just hitting the crap out of the ball, which is a good sign.
Yeah, pitching has also been good for this team. Again, shutout today. Taj deserved better. He goes 7 innings. I mean, before the Taj start, I believe 3 runs in 27 innings. And when you get to the bullpen and you talk about Littell, I mean, the guy is a hard luck loser. If he could get the run support like he got there in the ninth throughout the season, his record would look different. Talk about the Rays pitching right now.
Yeah, Drew Rasmussen had a great quality start today, delivering six innings of work with just allowing 1 hit and scoreless over. I think he extended his streak to 18 innings over the last 3 starts with no runs. So that's a huge positive note. Shane McClanahan should be back sometime soon. He was shown throwing today at the Big Stein. So the pieces are starting to fall in place. Peter, I mean, it's we've been hard on this team for the past month and a half, almost 2 months about the way they've been playing. And, I said this before, if you start off slow, which most teams tend to do, and, during the second half, they start to turn it up. That's the team I want to see. Look, you can struggle and be, teams like the Orioles, which, they're in the bottom of the cellar, and the Colorado Rockies too. But, you have those teams that can start off slow and then they come out of nowhere where they're in the thick of the playoff race. And I'm hoping that the Rays are that team because nobody's really talking about it right now. Look, let them be the dark horse of the league. That's what I want. I want them to come out of nowhere and just slap everybody in the face and just, make a big splash, hopefully in the postseason soon. So I think things are starting to come together. I think the Rays, what they have to do is really address the issues of, what are we going to do when the guys that are coming back from injuries and coming back from the the rehab stints, what are we going to do for the lineups? What are they going to look like? Who's going to be sent down? Who's going to be traded? I think those are the biggest questions that they have coming up because we've got guys coming back and they're going to probably make an impact from day one.
We're on with L. Bush here on the Evolution of Sports Talk Television. It's the Sports Web. I'm your host, Peter Blake, along with Louie from the Frozen Pirate Podcast again, talking about your Tampa Bay Rays. If you have a question for L. Bushman of the L Bushman of Easy for me to say of the Rays Rewind Podcast, open phone line 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. Want to go out to these comments. People on Rays radio post game be calling in. Maybe you just have a football only audience. We don't, Joe Sway, because we have people out there that are Rays fans. They're just being quiet tonight. They're listening.
I don't understand. The other day we were having a good show about the Rays.
Yeah.
Nobody wanted to talk about the Rays.
Yes.
Why are we talking about the Rays? And now, I don't know.
Just can never satisfy everybody. So that's how it goes. David says, I don't know. From what I've heard, is Kevin Cash even the head coach? I've heard analytics is the only thing that they could go by. Didn't they give up a World Series by listening to analytics besides the coach?
Oh my God. Can we let go the whole World Series thing? Just let it go, man. Move on to a new show. Like, let it go, bro.
It still hurts a lot of people.
I know it does, but like that, to me, that's ages ago now. Most of the players from that team aren't even on the team anymore. So let it go, man. Let it go. It's over.
Let it go. Let it go. All right.
Yeah, let it go, man.
Horrible. I got a flower for you, Peter, that will alleviate.
It starts with Mara and ends with Joanna.
Yeah. The devil's lettuce.
I'm sure he's either got the sativa, the hybrid, or the Indica couch.
Yeah.
So
the devil's lettuce.
How much of an impact has he made on this lineup? Because he seems like, at the time, he was the most consistent hitter, hitting for average, hitting for power in those key situations. I mean, talk about him. The Rays have really found a player in Aranda.
Yeah, I think what a bright spot he's been overall. I mean, this is a guy that, a couple of years ago we thought, oh, this is just another prospect that's probably just not going to turn out well. And all of a sudden this year, he's headed to the All-Star game no matter what, depending on what happens in the next month or so. But yeah, I think with him adding that power bat in there is definitely helped out the lineup too. I think with him in there, it's just been, I think it also helps out, Yandy Diaz too. I know Yandy didn't really do well this past week in the series with Toronto and the Twins, but for him being able to switch off at first base with him and Yandy, I think it gives him a little bit of breathing room. But with Aranda there, it's, you have that core now where it's Caminero, Aranda, Simpson. It's like you have those young guys, especially with Aranda too. I mean, it's just like, man, this guy just came out of nowhere and he's just hitting the ball so well and seeing it so well and just making those big hits. And, that's something that we really haven't seen out of a first baseman in a while. I think ever since Carlos Pena or the James Loney days. So it's nice to have him there in the lineup. I think, the Rays really, I know they don't like to give up on prospects a lot. So I'm glad they didn't give up on him. So maybe they're not giving up on Curtis Meade because Curtis Meade's been hitting the ball well. So maybe not. So we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, the situation is, and then Johnny DeLuca, what do you make of that situation? Because it was reported yesterday they're going to put him on a 60-day DL.
Yeah, he did suffer a setback. So he did move to the 60-day IL. Honestly, and Drew and I did discuss this too in our latest episode. I said you probably won't see him anytime soon, depending on what the doctors say. You might not even see him this year. And you know what? That's okay because of how many guys are in the outfield right now where you have enough depth to have that covered. And look, I mean, the lineup's not going to implode just because Johnny DeLuca is not going to beat it. Now, I know he was playing well before the injury and everything, but you may, depending on what the doctors say, I don't think he's going to be coming back anytime soon. He may not even come back this year. So yeah, with him being out of the lineup, look, it's just another piece in the outfield that they have. With Josh Lowe coming back, being healthy, hitting the ball, it's great. Chandler Simpson, he does need to work on some of his outfield work, but with the impact he's making in the lineup with his speed and being able to, beat out grounders is great too, and stealing bases on the base pass. They've got guys that are going to be in the outfield that can cover DeLuca, who I'm telling you right now, I don't think he's going to be back anytime soon.
Yeah, Morel, to me, it's been disappointing because the potential was there, but what we heard from him coming out of Chicago was he strikes out a lot, and he's done a lot of that. He's tried to pull everything instead of trying to take the ball to another field. It hasn't necessarily worked out. Defensively, you're not sure where to put him. Esau Paredes doing big things there.
Yeah, it's one of those moves where it's, look, they're going to have to bite the bullet no matter what on it. And, at the time, it was kind of it was a necessary move at the time because trading Isak meant Junior was coming up and taking over third base. So it was like a necessary move. So you thought trading him would bring over Morel as a stopgap until Junior came in, and then you move Morel out into the outfield. So it was kind of like, okay, it's a lateral move. We'll kind of get the same guy, but obviously it's not worked out. So they're going to have to bite the bullet. They're going to have to, and they're going to look, he's the guy that's probably going to get traded sometime soon. And, I'm sure the Rays could probably find some value out of him, maybe get like a prospect or two, or maybe even get a reliever out of him. But yeah, they're just going to have, it's one of those things where the ex GMs and the, Facebook GMs are going to be like, see, this trade sucks. Well, yeah, I think everybody kind of knew that this trade kind of sucked. So yeah, they're going to have to bite the bullet on this one. One of the many trades that the Rays kind of swung and a miss on this.
Yeah, DeLuca doesn't look good either besides Pepio. And of course, they ended their homestand.
Is Glass now even playing? I don't think Glass now, is he hurt again?
He seems like he's always hurt. I mean, he's got a perfect last name, Glass. Because he's made of it. Rays start there against the Astros on the road tomorrow night. So we'll see if they can keep that momentum. Let's go out to David here. Remember the old saying, God made pot, man made beer. Who do you trust? All right, David, appreciate that.
Yeah,
right.
natural pot. The pot that they have now, the dispensaries, chill. Quit it.
Let's go out to Joe Sway. I notice how Louis gets very quiet when we're talking Rays. Things not involving football and wrestling. Still love you, Louis. That's okay. He chooses to stay quiet. You know what? Joe Sway wants to challenge you here, Louis. So you got a question for L. Bushman?
No, I mean, like I said, when it comes to the Rays, like I can't sit here and say, hey, I watch every single game, because I'd be lying. I don't lie to the audience.
Right.
I like to listen to what he has to say. And then when I do watch those games, I'm like, all right, I see what he's talking about there. And like, yeah, I mean, baseball's a sport that I'm not really, I'm not going to say like I'm a huge fan of baseball, but I mean, it's a sport that I can't really go into statistics versus where I can talk about the Buccaneers and the Lightning and stuff like that. Because I don't really watch a lot of Rays games. You know what I'm saying? But when I do, you know what I'm saying? I watch, but I don't ever try to sound smarter than what I am. And I don't ever try to talk about things I know nothing about,
Yeah. That's it. Well, there you go. Don't
Just being
overextend
honest.
yourself. There you go. That's what we're all about here on the Evolution. So there you go. Christopher Cole says Morrell needs to be DFA'd. I think they're going to get some value, like El Bushman said. Talk about Junior Caminero, because he hit a home run today. It certainly seems like he's everything that's advertised can even get better, right? In your opinion?
Oh, yeah. He hit the double-digit home run mark today, 10 home runs. First time in the majors he's done that. So, continue to see more power out of him. You'll probably see about 25 to 30 dingers out of him this year. Look, he is the face of the franchise now. Like, he is what he who should not be named was supposed to be. So Junior is the face of the future and face of the franchise now, and then the Rays are going to build around him. So yeah, he's everything that was advertised, and I think and more, because I think as the season has progressed, we've seen the maturity of this kid. And what's great about Junior is he just loves the game of baseball, man. He just loves to play. He just loves being out there. He loves being a cheerleader for the team too. So I think, it's just as he gets more mature in the game, you're just going to see more of him as a leader and just him. He's going to get a big ass contract. I mean, hopefully they get some of the money back from the Wander Franco thing and maybe give it to Junior, but he's going to get a big ass contract no matter what. So, but yeah, he has been everything that we've wanted him to be when he has come up, and I'm so glad that he's up here now because he's exciting to watch, man. He's just it makes the lineup pop and makes the Rays team pop too when he's on there because he's just a great player and more great things to come from Junior, man.
Agree, absolutely. Let's go out to Wilbur here. He says, "Hey there, Peter, just checking in, big time Rays fan." From him. So give me some final thoughts there, El Bushman of the Rays Rewind podcast on what this Rays team could do here. Who could be the next prospect that Rays fans maybe need to keep their eye on? Is there somebody that you're keeping your eye on at this point that could be brought up here? Or do you think this team is set? Or is the fluidity Leo word there where they could change it up? Because they did that with the catcher. They're gonna make a move eventually with the shortstop here. Is there a prospect that can move up?
I think of at this moment, I don't think so right now, just because they've got so much depth and room where they're at in the bigs. I mean, obviously, when the 40-man roster expands in August and September, you'll probably see a couple of those guys come up right now. I mean, Joe Boyle is one of those guys I've been following. He was yanked I think today or yesterday because of his velocity was down a couple miles per hour. So that's something to monitor. No, we haven't had an update on it at all, but he's one of those guys that we'll see again maybe later on. Hopefully nothing happened because he got pulled the other day. He's one of those guys that came over in the Jeffrey Springs trade where, he's got triple digit velocity. He's got great stuff. And then, he could be in the rotation or could be in the bullpen. So,
all right, El, we don't want to get you out of here without a question. Let's go out to Joe Sway here using his second call. I got a feeling it's going to be about the Tampa Bay Rays. Welcome back to the Sports Web here on a Happy Hump Day edition.
Actually, Peter, I have a theory, and this is going to go well with the Rays and the Bucs, because what I've noticed and what I've heard on not on the telecast, but on the radio, so Hunter Brown of the Astros, Bassett from the Blue Jays, and today started for the Twins, I think Pablo Lopez.
Mm-hmm.
So they all pitched during the daytime. And it was stupid hot.
Yeah.
Okay. Obviously. Now, how in August, September, and even into October, right, the Bucs had the advantage of the heat, right? Because teams will come in and wilt in the heat, right?
Right.
You believe that the same thing is going on, to which coincidentally the Rays are now winning because these teams are coming in extreme heat conditions. And they can't, pitchers are, going 20, 15, 20, 30 minutes out there. They're just wilting in the heat. Like, they're not used to these types of conditions. So there might be a good home field advantage to make it to your Bucs point. Since, I don't like football, I don't like the Bucs. Well, there you go.
Which I don't understand, because you watch this show and it's a predominantly a Bucs show, but that's okay, Joe Sway. It's a good point. Let me ask you.
He does have a point. That's something I brought up on our newest episode was, I think now since we're getting into the summer months and it's getting hotter, that the Rays, since they've been conditioned to play outside in this heat, it's probably now going to be their advantage because now they've kind of adjusted to the Big Stein, and now you have teams that are used to playing in the nice weather up north, and they're coming into the sweltering heat, playing baseball outside in Tampa with no dome in a stadium where they really haven't played before because most of these teams don't spring train down here, and they don't spring train in the heat, especially in the summer heat. Now is the time to take advantage of that. I think after this whole stretch of games with the Blue Jays and also the Twins, I think now the tide is starting to turn about. Okay, now the Braves are kind of taking advantage of this because these teams are not conditioned to play in this type of heat, this type of god awful humidity heat where it's 98 on the field, but it's actually 108 because of the humidity. So that I think, yes, the caller that just called in, I think, there is an advantage here, and I think the Rays are starting to expose that to other teams. Yeah.
All right, good stuff there. Good stuff, Josue. Anything else here on the sports web?
No, that was mainly it. I just wanted to make that point because I know that watching the Bucs and all that, in the past, like I would hear like teams coming in during still when it's
Wait a minute, you watch the Bucs? That's amazing. That's a start there, Josue, to be a Bucs fan. So there you go. You watch the Bucs. You said you hate the Bucs.
I've been always a Bucs fan,
all right.
Peter. I've gone to games when Jameis Winston was the quarterback, when Jeff Garcia was the quarterback.
Jeff Garcia, wow.
I've been through those times. Just because I don't like the sport doesn't mean that, hey, I still support it, from afar. I just don't talk about it 24/7 like y'all do.
We want to talk about it 24/7. You know why? Because we're talking about the Rays right now with Al Bushman of the Rays Rewind podcast. We don't talk about it 24/7.
Okay, 23/6.
Oh, shut up. You know what? Thanks a lot, Josue.
I love you. I love you guys. I love you. I love what you guys are doing.
All right, man. We appreciate you. All right.
Appreciate you, brother.
3-7, whatever. All right. What did you think of the switching of the times? Because we talked to the media icon, TJ Reeves, about that. Not surprised by it. It makes sense. Right, to move the Boston Red Sox game to 7:35, right?
That would be such a cluster that day with the Rays and I think the Rays were playing at 12:10, and then the Bucs. That would be such a nightmare to be in on Dale Maybury with those two teams playing at almost pretty much the same exact time. Like traffic would be just nuts. Yeah, I'm glad that they addressed that and the times were changed for that. Now it makes everybody more accommodable. Yeah, like when I saw that, I'm like, that it will be the worst day to be in Tampa ever because of these two sporting events going on at the same time. It'd be fun to be at because then you can go back and forth tailgating and stuff between both of the games, but like nightmare wise traffic and everything else, no thank you.
All right, good stuff, Al Bushman. Go ahead and promote yourself here on the evolution of Sports Talk Television, my friend.
Yeah, new episodes drop tomorrow morning at the Sick Podcast, Rays Rewind, courtesy of the Sick Media Network. Check us out.
Love it, man. Al Bushman of the Rays Rewind podcast joining us here on a happy hump day edition of the Sports Web after the Rays are hot right now, over 500. Once again, appreciate the time. We'll see you next week, my friend.
About when you can get hot, man. I'm telling you, get hot at the right time. Things happen.
Let's all get better here. Let's see if we can get healthy. That'll be the next thing. All right.
I'm good.
Guys.
Appreciate you, Bush. There you go. Good stuff there. He even said it. I look like I got some sun, or I look like I'm stopped. I don't know what I look like.
You need to eat a lot of fruit or no?
It said sometimes. Maybe I need to eat.
You gotta eat a lot of fruit. If I was living in Florida, man, I'd love the fruit out there. It's a lot better than it is up here. I'll tell you that.
Need some more orange juice or something. Are you going to the Rays Super Sidewalk sale coming up? I don't think so. There was an idea to do that, but yeah, I think I'm gonna go. Drive and do some Uber this weekend if I'm healthy. Hopefully, I am. Knock on wood. Hello, guys. Realtor David Zuzman. Hello, guys. I'm glad I caught your live today. Thank you very much for tuning in.
You.
And did Reddick show up today at OTA training? Did they have OTA training today?
Not mandatory.
Right.
It's like saying, hey, guys, we're going to work overtime today, 2 hours, but it's not mandatory. See you later.
Again, there's a lot of people that have a problem with it.
Know, man.
I get it. Open phone lines. If you do have a problem with it, Realtor David Zuzman, 727-255-0391 and 727-255-0391. Let's see here. Wilbur says, thanks. I think I'm going to pass also. I mean, it's going to be hot. It would be interesting to kind of do the event and meet some Rays fans and stuff like that. Who knows? You never know. Just keep on tuning in to the evolution of Sports Talk Television. Got to remind you of this right there.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what we're looking at right now. June 6th, June 7th, and June 8th. The guests, Tristan Wirfs, Levante David. We had some of those times, so you can go back. We'll get some of those times. I believe it's like 6:30 or 7, so we may start the show a little bit later on that Friday. We'll see what happens, but we definitely want to get those guys on. And then Saturday, you got Canseco, Jalen McMillan, Brad Johnson, Antoine Winfield Jr., Kalijah Cansey, Christian Isian, Orlando Hernandez, Phil Esposito, Ruben Sierra, John Gruden. We already had Ian Book. We may have him again. Who knows? Maybe he'll come back. Bucky Irving, Desmond Watson, Eliza Roberts. And, of course, Sunday, lots of Gators there, including DJ Langway. You've got Nick Anderson, Sam Perkins, Cedric Maxwell. I mean, the list just goes on and on and on. Just for you,
I wouldn't mind getting Gruden on here.
It'd be great to get Gruden on to talk to him. Just ask him some questions, as always. All right.
I got a big question to ask him.
I know what question you got to ask him. We'll see if we can get him on.
What's going to happen in the future here, buddy?
I know, man. It's all about the future.
You never know.
It's all about evolution, my friend. So let's go ahead and you evolve, if you will. Go to Turnbuckle Talk, because I'm not going to go 3 hours. We'll go maybe another 30 minutes here, get some phone calls.
Let's do it.
Well, can we get
adjust this? Yeah,
adjust this, my friend. If we
we gotta fix this. You know what? I don't want to see it right now.
All right. Well, then
we're gonna figure some stuff out. We got to get on
where's the new Sports Web logo? Because I've been trying to find that, and you're the producer here, so give me a new, give me the new Sports Web logo there with Here we go. That's good. Well, where's the other one where it shows our name?
Have this one up top.
Boom. That's what I'm talking about. That's the one right there. Yeah. There it is, producer. All right. Good stuff. Open phone line 727-255-0391. All right. Saturday night main event came into town. I was unaware of it. Should have been aware, but the tickets were out of this world. First and foremost, what did you think of Saturday night main event? Once again, lots of commercials. Seems rushed. You had the R-Truth match with John Cena. It is what it is. Somewhat disappointing. I mean, you had CM Punk come out with Sami Zayn. And then you have John Cena interrupt Jey Uso there, saying he's going to ruin wrestling. And then the return of Cody Rhodes.
Should have never did that.
Your general thoughts on Saturday night main event?
Didn't like it because, again, I keep saying this, Peter. They rush this stuff too much. Saturday night main event should have never took place. I get why they're trying to do it because they're trying to make money. I get that. I fully understand that. But you rushed Cody Rhodes back. I mean, John Cena is right. He is ruining wrestling because this is becoming lackluster. I had faith in this. But I did say in the beginning, I said he's got to turn it up a notch. He really hasn't turned it up at all. It's very how can I say, after Ruthless Aggression era, I feel like he's still stuck in that PG era. It's okay, John, you can cuss. In my opinion, I think he's not a real heel. He hasn't done a very good job for some reason. I thought we were gonna see something. We're like halfway through this where his farewell tour. I feel like his farewell tour has been going on for a long time.
Just go away now.
Yeah, it's go away.
It's been flat.
Honestly, flat. If the WWE wants to capitalize on this,
why it's flat. You know why it started to be flat.
I have a good thought. So
why do you think it's been flat?
He's stuck in an era that doesn't work anymore.
It's not even that.
No,
it's The Rock, man.
You think so?
It is absolutely The Rock. The Rock not being a part of it. We always talk about momentum. That's also carried over. The negativity is carried over from WrestleMania. Travis Scott. Who cares? Who cares about this? The Rock needed something to care about. It was a faction. It was a group. There was a storyline, and it was kind of left, just thrown away.
I think right now, if I'm WWE, I got to throw Karrion Kross in the mix. I got to have that guy. If you want to catapult this dude, because he's got a lot of momentum, I like these type of cats. I like the Malachi Blacks and the Karrion Crosses. I like these type of dudes. But Karrion Cross is a dude who I think you should put in the mix to hit this title run if you want, because I feel like the belt, the title itself is kind of, it's just meaningless at this point. I think they rushed Cody Rhodes way too early. I think he should have had more time off, in my opinion. I get it. They want him to make SummerSlam, but I mean, honestly, I would have like I said, if it's me and I'm booking this, man, I'm gonna have Karrion Cross ride that momentum because he's got a lot of momentum. I would try to end this at SummerSlam. I'd take the title off Cena at SummerSlam, and then now you can start developing a rivalry between Karrion Cross and Cody Rhodes. I think that would be pretty interesting to see, because right now Karrion Cross has got all the momentum. That's a good way to take, because we all know Cody Rhodes is going to take the title off John, and that's the problem here, Peter. It's too.
Do we assume?
I think so. I think that's what it's going to be. It's going to be Cody Rhodes.
Could it be CM Punk?
No, I don't think so. I don't think CM Punk needs the title at all. I think CM Punk is just fine without the title. I honestly, like, if it's me doing it, like I said, I'm gonna build another megastar in Karrion Cross, and then you can have Karrion Cross and Cody Rhodes as a rivalry, and that would be an intense rivalry. Even if you wanted to bring the old ladies into it with Brandy Rhodes, and you can do something with Scarlett. Like there's a lot of things you can do there, in my opinion. But I mean, they got to do something. They got to get the title off Cena. This is terrible already.
He's ruined wrestling. That's for sure.
Well, he said he was going to do it, so there you go. He's literally doing it. I mean, it's just
literally ruining wrestling.
It's not believable. It's just, to me, it's so watered down. It's terrible. Is it past 9 o'clock? It's a cheese dick Bob version that I don't like. Okay, it's cheese dick. That's what it is. It's not entertaining, in my opinion.
Well, we'll go back to that in a moment. I heard that they might be sending Misner down to AAA, or Meisner, Cameron Meisner. That might be possible. Reddick did not produce crap last year, not showing up is an early sign about his lack of commitment. We have talked about that, so that is
voluntary.
It's voluntary, but we'll see how long it lasts. I would just say Bucs fans, don't freak out because it's not training camp yet.
Peter, let me ask you something.
It is about
if your boss said, "Hey, it's time. We have to work 2 hours overtime, but it's not mandatory. It's voluntary." Would you do it?
Yes.
But I'm just saying, if you didn't have to
get paid, if I'm going to get paid overtime, yes. And to that point, I kind of understand where some Bucs fans are coming from. Like, it's not a big deal, but then again, going back to last year where you didn't show up for the Jets and there was controversy. I don't think it's going to happen with the Bucs. But
I don't think so either.
Like Randy Gregory all over again. Oh, not again. This guy's
but Randy Gregory came in, signed the contract, and left. This dude, he's done his sprints. He's done a few workouts with the team. It's not like he's done nothing. That's why
such a bad optic at this point. That's what it comes down to. It's optics. But again, it's early. It's something to talk about. But to answer your question,
fans tend to overreact too.
That's okay. But that's okay here on the Sports Web. You can overreact. Open phone line 727-255-0391 at 727-255-0391. I'm your Rolex reporter, Peter Blake, along with Louis from the Frozen Pirate Podcast.
What do you hear? Yeah. What do you say?
Exactly right there, as he does a show on Thursday nights at 7:30. Definitely tune into that. 1,200 views last week.
That's insane, man. I was blown away by that.
You got more than that. I bet you got like 1,300 or 1,400 in your budget.
Yeah, but still, like, just
all right.
What I was expecting like 500, and I seen like that number. I was just like, wow. Like,
okay. Also to be revealed, I don't know if you saw this or caught this. There was another man that was added to the unnamed faction at this point. I don't know. I guess Michael Cole was calling a coalition. I don't know what you call it.
You know what that is? That's
what is it?
I noticed. So I noticed one thing. When WWE is very unsure about a faction, Michael Cole will say the coalition or something within that nature. They don't know what to call this faction, although I do like the idea of Bronson Reed being added to this faction. That changes things a little bit. I don't want them to oversaturate this. I think what they have right now is good, but you have to have the right direction for these guys. You can't just have Braun and Bronson. Like this has to mean something now. Like they need to start collecting some gold to be relevant and a threat, if you will.
That's true. All right. So Bronson Reed, who was a part of the new bloodline, if you will, for like a cup of coffee before he got hurt.
Yeah.
And then he decided to hurt Seth Rollins. So everybody's like, well, Bronson Reed, he attacks CM Punk there, comes out of the audience. Nobody knows what's going on. And it looks like, Braun Breaker and him are going to, come to some type of fisticuffs. And then, of course, Seth Rollins, being Rollins the way he is, hugs him. And then, of course, Bronson Reed is now a part of whatever the heck this faction is. This is a pretty powerful
visionary. I don't know.
Visionary. I don't know what it is.
The visionary.
Visionary architect. I mean, what is it to you? I didn't get a chance to see Monday night. Shame on me. I was watching I think I was watching the Rays at that point, but you watched Monday night. What did you think of this? How it's being introduced?
I didn't get to watch all of it. I watched the clips.
Okay.
Look, I like this. It's starting to grow on me now. They just need to have a name, some type of.
Let's
they need gold. They need
better.
gold.
It's been a lot better. It's been better done than the John Cena Hill. Let's just out there. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's unfortunate because I felt like that world heavyweight title that they have is kind of like the one that Jey Uso has. I don't even know what to call it anymore. Like they gotta fix their title situation too. I will say that. But now it's starting to see, like, you're starting to see the heavyweight title that Jey Uso has. It's starting to heat up a little bit more. It's starting to mean something now versus the other one, the Universal title, whatever the hell they call that. It's starting to become lackluster, if you will. I like what Monday Night Raw is doing. I like where they're going with this faction. Like I said, they need gold. These guys behind Rollins need gold, right? Like as soon as possible. You have to make them relevant. They can't be taking losses. They have to dominate, and you have to build them up strong, like you did with the Shield. Again, you have the perfect faction here. You have Seth Rollins, who's a mouthpiece, who's cocky. You have Paul Heyman, who's the greatest talker in all of professional wrestling. You have a powerhouse in Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. These guys have to win gold. You have to make them relevant, man, or it's just going to be another wasted opportunity. So I like what they're doing with that. It's got me intrigued, and not a lot of things get me intrigued. But
the other thing that happened, you had Damian Priest and Drew McIntyre. You had Damian Priest walk out of the cage. Jesse Ventura, Jesse the Body. It was. I don't know. I'm not ready to use the word cringe. He was going all heel. You had Michael Cole kind of trying to calm him down. He's talking during the intro. I don't think that was necessarily.
I don't like that.
I
hate when they do that.
And then
they did that with Aleister Black when he first came back. The guy was talking like this, very quiet. And I'm like, what are they doing? Just let him come out.
It's okay for him to talk quietly, but the Body, it's almost like somebody didn't signal him in his ear.
I don't know. Yeah.
You have the intro by the ring announcer, and I'm trying to think. It's Lillian Garcia. She's announcing the match, and he just continues to talk, and he's talking as loud, so you can't hear the intro. You can't. And he's just talking, and I'm like,
I don't think he cares.
Something's not right. I don't think he does either. And he didn't care about calling Damian Priest out, saying, this is a boring match. Why is he not going over the top? Why is he not going over the cage? Why is he walking out? He said in so many words, maybe just have the limousine come and pick him up. I mean, it was heel commentary at its best. I love Jesse the Body. It just seemed kind of over the edge, but I guess it kind of worked. I mean, it was somewhat entertaining, if you will. It almost seemed like also he was just
I mean, I don't have a big issue with it. I think they need to like calm him down and sit him down and say, hey, listen, like we know who you are, we get it, but let's try this approach. I mean, I liked it better than some of Pat McAfee's commentary. Some of his commentary is a little forced, if you will. I don't know. Let's talk about that, man. Like, when was the last time we actually really had a good commentary duo outside of the late 90s, Jim Ross and Jerry the King Lawler? I feel like even when I was a kid, I'm still searching for that. Like, I feel like that's what's really missing. Like, I like Michael Cole, but it's not Jim Ross and Jerry Lawler. Like, Jerry Lawler was a good heel commentary guy. He was.
Yeah.
And
he was.
They don't have, I don't know. Like, they've
Paul Heyman and Jim Ross were pretty unbelievable.
They were good. Yeah, they were very good.
When he
also,
came in there.
Who else was pretty good? That they had.
Listen, I don't think it's WWE, but it goes back to Bobby the Brain Heenan, right? Bobby the Brain Heenan in WCW with Tony Schiavone. I think that was a classic duo.
Imagine Tony Schiavone in WWE.
Yeah, I believe at the time, I'm pretty sure I thought he was a part of WWE. Maybe he wasn't. I think it was Jim Ross that was a part of WCW at the time. I don't know. I have to look that up.
Jim Ross a part? I mean, I think he was
Jim Ross is a part of WCW. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he went to WWE. It's oversaturated. Mike D. Roche says, "Hey, Peter, Louie, what's going on, man? 3-2 Panthers. Third period just started. So we'll see if the Panthers move on. I'm pretty much thinking they're going to move on. But overall, the Saturday night main event, I like it. I just think it's so rushed. There's so many commercials. And by the way, if you didn't get your dude wipes, they reminded you about 30 times.
Numerous times, yeah.
Dude wipes. There you go.
Look, again, they got to stop with the force feeding of Saturday night. Again, you want to do nostalgic shows. I said this last week, and I'm going to continue to say this. You want to do those nostalgic shows, do a nostalgic SmackDown show.
Right.
Do a nostalgic Monday night show. You can do those, and they're special because, and you can do those quite a bit throughout the year without messing up pay-per-views. I still say they have too many pay-per-views. I think there should be like maybe 7 at most pay-per-views. You got to keep your WrestleMania. You have to keep your Royal Rumble. You have to keep your SummerSlam and your Survivor Series. Now build off those 4. What's 3 more that you can fill in, or 2 more that you can fill in with that?
Right.
You know, and you can do the Saturday night main event. Boom. You can do that twice a year. And then the rest of the time, and the Saturday night main events would mean something. They really, really would. And then the rest of the time, if you want to do those nostalgic shows, you can do Monday Night Raw 3 different times. You can do it one from the 90s, from the 80s, and the late 2000s. Same thing with SmackDown. You can do it you can do the same stage setup as the late 90s, mid 2000s, the Ruthless Aggression era. You can do that. The WWE really needs to stop. It's too much, Peter. And again, it's not allowing storylines to develop. It's hurting them.
I think they're taking advantage of the NBC deal there with Peacock. And again, you're right. I mean, it's Louis. You need some sound effects. Also, you got some sound effects, don't you? Some ones you can use.
You don't say that.
Yeah, exactly. There you go.
I got some other ones, but they say bad stuff.
Well, yeah, we can't do that. All right. Let's see. The other breaking news of the day, which I don't know if you've been keeping track of the Vince McMahon situation, if you will. Okay, here we go. Here it is. I'm trying to get this right because reading stuff like this, you got to be careful. Saturday night main events are so predictable and the outcomes. Very true. Yeah. I thought they would do something different.
Because I really thought R-Truth was really going to beat John Cena. Come on.
Well, Mark Henry did. Mark Henry did. He said this on Busted Open Radio. He thought that R-Truth was going to go over, but it was going to be a non-title match, but R-Truth would win. Yeah. Which it would kind of make sense because it's non-title, but does it mean anything?
Yeah,
why are you doing it in the first place?
I like listening to about these stuff when know it's bad. I like listening to Jim Cornette's podcast.
Yes,
he'll tell you exactly how it is.
I agree. I completely agree with that. All right, a new filing submitted on Wednesday shows that former WWE executive John Laurinaitis, people power. I don't think I did his voice.
Power right. People. And
there you go.
Oh, what a terrible time.
Has been removed as a defendant in the lawsuit filed by former WWE employee Janelle Grant. WWE and its former CEO and chairman, Vince McMahon, continue to be defendants in the sex trafficking case in U.S. District Court for the District of Connecticut. A statement on behalf of both Grant and Laurinaitis states that Laurinaitis has agreed to provide her with evidence related to the case. John Laurinaitis has agreed to cooperate and provide evidence in the Janelle Grant lawsuit against Vince McMahon and WWE. his agreement to a confidential settlement is a pivotal next step toward holding McMahon and WWE accountable and bringing justice to Miss Grant after years of sexual abuse and trafficking. Mr. Laurinaitis looks forward to moving on with his life. We cannot provide any additional details at this time.
Now, was he part of that?
He was. And now
I mean, you really can't move on with your life because your wife knows about that. And so it's just like, I don't know. That's such a messy situation. But then again, it's so tough this day and age. You don't know what to believe anymore.
Well, you got the P. Diddy case going on there with Cassie. I mean, everybody's making their judgments on that. This is what Jessica Rosenberg had to say, McMahon's attorney. Today's dismissal of John Laurinaitis as a defendant doesn't alter the facts of this case in any way. Vince McMahon never mistreated Janelle Grant. She said to the Post on Wednesday, no matter how many press releases her team issues, the truth remains unchanged. As Mr. Laurinaitis' lawyer previously said, Mr. Laurinaitis corroborates Mr. McMahon is publicly declaring that Miss Grant's allegations of sexual abuse and coercion in her complaint are completely unfounded. So there you go.
I don't know, man.
Let me go read these comments, and then we got a couple events that we'll end off on. But going back,
you got to be careful, though. You got to be careful to the young guys out there. I'm telling you, you got to be careful with this stuff. Look at the rapper, The Game. You hear about him?
I did not hear about him. What did he do?
So he had this, supposedly he had this TV show, Finding Love with the Game or whatever it is. Hey, I like The Game. I think The Game is a fantastic rapper. A lot of people may not think so because of, the gang culture and all that stuff. I mean, when I listen to music, I don't really specifically listen to it because of that. I just listen to it because I like it. And sometimes you relate to some things. But anyways, that's neither here or there. I thought he was a phenomenal lyricist. I thought he's very good at what he does. He's very relevant to me with the music because he keeps the culture of music that I grew up, like the old beats and stuff. He like Mobb Deep and all that stuff. He uses those instrumentals. I really like that. So he did a show, I think, Finding Love with the Game. Supposedly, this young lady said that he assaulted her. She was suing him for like $7 or $8 million. I don't know what the thing is. He refused to pay because he said, "Hey, I didn't do this. This is bull crap." I guess some people were saying that she's full of it too. We don't know. But fast forward, I think it's been like 12 years now. They forced him to sell his house for $7.1 million to pay her. They forced him to sell his home.
Again, be careful with who you associate with. Because if you
find a regular girlfriend, man, that's all I can say. Find a regular girlfriend.
From what social media has taught us over the last 5 to 10 years, or the last 2 years, whether it's Pop the Balloon or Instagram or P. Diddy or Shannon Sharp or Money Grabs or anything else.
P. Diddy's in big trouble. He did it.
He did it.
He did it.
I mean, there's a lot of association there. Just watch who you associate with.
I'm curious why they don't have that on TV, that trial.
I believe it's
Johnny Depp and Amber Heard.
It's federal, so you can't
do it.
Can't do it. Yeah. Seth Rollins getting to be boring already. Agree with that? By Mike DeRoche, boring to you?
No, these things take time. I mean, like I said, he was boring before. I said this before he had this faction. I'm like, he's getting stale. I don't know if it's the clothes, the way he comes out.
The clothes.
Yeah, it's but now it's kind of like I said they need to do something and maybe align him with Paul Heyman, and it happened at WrestleMania. So
makes sense.
It's a change. It makes sense. It's a change. So we'll see where this goes. I mean, we've seen WWE really prop up a faction and then drop the ball on it. So I mean,
agree, absolutely. Let's see here. Let's go out to Lamar. Wow, that's wild, McMahon. Yeah, it's news today. John Laurinaitis is now working with Janelle Grant and whatever is going on there. We'll see.
Does that affect Brock Lesnar too? Didn't he have some stuff too in that?
There has not been any talk of that. So, and of course, the WWE is not in association with him at this point. We don't know.
Yeah,
if that gets cleared up if that'll ever happen.
Too bad, man. Because there's some good potential opponents. Again, a
Yeah.
Karrion Kross, a Gunther. I would have loved to see Gunther and Brock.
I think Karrion Kross is so over, and a lot of the locker room. This was a story last week we didn't cover, but a lot of the locker room saluted him. He got some heat for it, for saying what was on his mind. But sometimes that's what it takes. I'm not saying Karrion Kross is the next Stone Cold Steve Austin, but really,
Punk did it.
Well, listen, if you know your history, but Stone Cold Steve Austin was the ringmaster at ECW.
Yeah.
And basically, when Steve Austin gets fired from WCW, Paul Heyman says, "Hey, Steve, do you want to come and work at ECW? Do you want to say something
too?
Yes. Do you want to go say something? Say something." And he said it, and he just was honest about it. Gave one of the best promos. Yep. Vince McMahon paid attention to it, knew that he was going to be a superstar, and then it went off from there. It just takes that moment sometimes. Karrion Kross, getting some heat backstage for his comments. But the guy needs to be pushed. Do you
know his merch? His merch right now is one of the highest selling merches right now.
Yes.
That's
and
insane.
Listen, he does an unbelievable Jesse the Body Ventura impression.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen that before.
Did you check out his little documentary that he made on his YouTube channel?
Did not get a chance to
really
see
cool.
that. Yeah.
You get a chance? Yeah. Okay. Check it out. Really cool.
All right. Cena's new finisher, the growing kick and the low blow. There you go.
Yeah, I feel that every time I watch one of his matches now.
All right. Speaking of Cena, and this is what I don't necessarily like about this storyline when these wrestlers come out of kayfabe, they're talking about why they're retiring. Cena was talking to, I'm trying to think here, it looks like Newsweek, and he says the reason for his retirement, my skills are on the regress. If I continue at a full-time physical capability or involvement, I'm not going to run right. My partner's not going to run right. Our relationships are not going to run right. Sorry, kid. It's time to close the chapter. He says, despite this, his passion remains undiminished. I wish I was 18. I wish I felt great because I don't feel more at home besides in the arms of my wife than I do on a canvas. He said, I had pitched this idea, a real wrestling farewell, and hoping that you would see the business of it. See, this right here is what kind of ruins it for me. Mm-hmm. Like, don't say nothing. You're a heel, stay in character. That's a great thing you can appreciate about The Undertaker. Always in character. People try to get him.
Does a great job? MJF.
Yes. Always.
Huge douchebag. Always.
Yes. Always. That's his character.
He pegged off a handicap kid.
Dwayne, I don't want to see Dwayne Johnson come out and promote Netflix and start doing, vodka shots with Cody Rhodes to ruin the storyline and then come back the next week and go, I'm 2 steps. No, you're not. Because you ruined kayfabe. You ruined it.
Or if you're going to do something like that, you got to be like a manipulator, if you will, like a narcissist almost. Like I don't know, man. Guys like that, I want to see guys like that away. We don't, honestly, like, I can't wait till Cena's done. I can't wait till Rock's done. Like, we got to just get these guys away. You have such a bright future with guys like Bronson Reed, Karrion Kross, Aleister Black. Like, these are the guys that you should really be pushing. Braun Breaker, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Rick Williams, like Joe Henry, Trick Williams, Henry,
man.
Trick Williams is now the new TNA champion in Tampa the other night. Beat Joe Henry. Joe Henry, there's talk that he could be going from NXT to the main roster. Why? Well, Randy Orton suggested him to be a WrestleMania. Well, there's a reason why. That's a main veteran saying Joe Henry is the guy, so he may be on the main roster. Trick Williams is the future. Mello who's with the Miz. Eventually, you're going to set up.
Had a great match with Aleister.
Yes,
he can hang, man. The dude can hang, and
absolutely.
It's just, again, speaking of that match, how did you wind up watching that qualifier match with the LA Knight, Malachi, and
was really good.
It was good. I like how he took the pin away. I don't know if they're going to be building that rivalry there between Aleister and LA Knight, but I think that was really cool how he kind of went in there and stole the victory. That was a really good match, and honestly, I wouldn't mind seeing Aleister and Shinsuke kind of have a solo one-on-one match. I think that would be pretty cool because their styles really, they don't clash. They emulate each other. I think they'd have a fantastic match. Shinsuke Nakamura, I'm a little disappointed because he is a guy that I was very high on. I loved Shinsuke Nakamura. I keep telling everybody, go back and go watch that Shinsuke's first match in WWE at NXT, man. And in the heyday of NXT, that was they were putting out. I was watching NXT more than the main roster. Some of the stuff that they were putting out there, but go watch NXT, go watch Shinsuke versus Sami Zayn. It's probably in my top 5 best matches of all time.
All right.
See me scratching over here. I got bit by a mosquito for the first time today. Yeah.
Watch out, man. All right. Mike D. Roche says, just wondering, are there any Sports Web merch, shirts and hats?
I got to talk to you about that. I got some ideas. That's up my alley, buddy.
We are definitely getting some of that. I'm working with somebody. We are definitely getting some of that stuff taken care of here in the future. And like I said, I will talk to my buddy here and see what he has to say. So we'll be getting some merch out here in the next couple weeks, next couple months, very, very soon, way overdue. 3-3 Panthers, Canes, 10 minutes left in the game. So once again, we will keep you up to date on that score. On Wrestling Observer Radio, Dave Meltzer noted that people within WWE have actually suggested asking fans not to swear during TV shows. He would later add, however, it doesn't expect it will actually happen. Take that for what it is. Also, Meltzer said that he believes that Vince McMahon is still trying to buy WWE from TKO, which I don't think is ever going to happen. No. Jonathan Coachman is claiming on Behind the Turnbuckle that he's hearing Travis Scott flaked on doing the tag team match with John Cena at Money in the Bank, and he hasn't been training with Booker T per Fightful Select. There were creative discussions regarding Asuka at the beginning of the year, but that was considered too early. It's still uncertain when she'll be cleared to return. The Observer notes that there are a lot of banged up wrestlers in AEW coming out of Double or Nothing, including both the Young Bucks. PW Insider claims the decision on who should win the Owen Hart Foundation tournament final between Will Ospreay and Hangman Page wasn't finalized until hours before the show. They apparently went back and forth on quite a bit before settling on Page. Fightful adds that the two wrestlers themselves pushed for the other to win. Did you watch any of the AEW? I know you're not an AEW fan. I watched some of the highlights. It was somewhat entertaining. I like the Hangman winning the title over Ospreay. I think that's the right decision. They did the Anarchy in the arena where Kenny Omega, it was kind of funny. He comes out and he plays music. And what did they play? Let the Bodies Hit the Floor. Play Let the Bodies Hit the Floor. Circa 2001 WWE and 2005 ECW being recreated. Way to go. It is a good song, but it was somewhat entertaining. What did you think of that?
No, it sucked. I honestly that
all right. I was there because
it's not my thing. Like I said, the Anarchy in the arena, like it's so stupid. I just, in my opinion, it's dumb. There's too much going on all at once. And honestly, I was listening to the Cornette Experience, and he hit it right on the head. Not in these words, but like basically they were just talking about like how the John Moxley character and his Death Riders are supposed to be like the top heel faction, and it just sucks. It doesn't work.
What's worse, his heel faction or John Cena's heel turn? What's worse?
What is it?
What is worse at this point, in your opinion? Is it John Cena? And this is a good question for wrestling fans right now. We'll put this out there on Twitter and on the other social media platforms. What is worse right now?
Cough.
Yes, my cough. Or John Cena's heel turn, or the Death Riders with John Moxley and AEW. What has been done worse? Open phone line 727-255.
That's a tough one.
0391. It's yes. It's a good question out there.
I'm not big on like the spikes in his head. Like it's just dumb. It's
all extreme at this point. It's like extreme champion.
But here's the thing. ECW had decent matches. Yeah, did they have like gory stuff? Not really. It was just it was a lot of blood and stuff. But like there was a story behind it. Like there was, this Death Rider stuff. It's dumb. It's just it's all about blood. Man, I don't want to see that. It's just I get it. I'm one person. But I'm not entertained by those Anarchy matches. I think they're stupid. And that's a good way to get your roster banged up. As you can see, the AEW roster is all banged up. And I know what a lot of people are going to say. Oh, well, WWE, this and that. Yeah, they do it too. But it's after WrestleMania. People are banged up because they just put on a show of a lifetime telling you a story versus, watching a bunch of people bleed everywhere. It's just I don't know, man. Those matches with Rob Van Dam and Sabu, those are classics. This isn't classic. This is just dumb. It's ECW worked in the 90s. This stuff is not really working, especially when you force feed it down people's throats. And this company has no direction. They got the Ospreay and Hangman thing right. I agree with that.
Yes,
they got that right. And I think they need to focus more on that stuff instead of this stupid crap that you're doing, because it doesn't work.
Mercedes Moné won again. Shocker. People calling her like the Tony Storm making out with her opponent, which she's been great. Her character is unbelievable.
I like her character. She's a good part. I mean, that is the women's division, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go finish.
I wouldn't mind seeing her and Mercedes Moné kind of like top star type of deal, but I don't know. I would kind of keep that away until what's their big pay-per-view, like their WrestleMania All In, right?
Yeah, something like that, I believe. Yeah, I don't even know, but I tell you that the women's wrestler they need to push, who's very talented, who's good on the mic. I don't know necessarily a great wrestler. Haley Cameron, or is it Harley Cameron? Harley Cameron. I think it's Harley Cameron.
I'd have to see it. I'd have to see her.
It's Harley Cameron, yeah. All right, let's go out to the phone lines here. Let's go out to Alex. Alex, welcome to the Evolution.
It's Alex. What's up, Peter?
What's going on, man? We were expecting your call before. I'm sorry I didn't get a chance to take your call because we had Ian Book. But
I know. I had a game tonight, so I kind of just left the game after. I was like, oh, shoot, you guys are still us. Let me call in.
Yes, we're still on, yes.
So let's talk about the Rays win today. I know a lot of y'all like to talk Bucs, but let's talk about the Rays today real quick.
Okay.
Big win.
Yep.
5-0. The Bats came alive.
They did.
I swear, I think Jonathan Aranda is making a run for an all-star vote.
Definitely is.
Another 2 for 3 day. I think he had 2 RBIs.
Mm-hmm.
The Rays are back in second place, I think.
They are, and they're over 500 again. So, and then they go on the road now and play Houston, and we'll see if they can carry this momentum. But you're exactly right. Aranda has definitely turned into a consistent option, probably the most consistent hitter in this lineup. And we were talking with El Bushman, the Rays Rewind podcast, which you can go back and watch if you want to see the replay of this broadcast, how he's been a pleasant surprise, and he has been. And when he needs to get a hit in critical situations, he's been able to do that. And then furthermore, you got Brandon Lau, who homers again, 11-game hitting streak. So he's starting to put it together, which is a great thing. We know when he gets into, motion, or when he gets into a groove, that the sky's the limit, that he can hit home runs and hit it out of any ballpark. And this lineup will definitely feed off of that. And then Junior Caminero. So they're getting the hits right now from those 3 top guys, and the pitching has just been outstanding.
Which, by the way, don't.
Did we lose you there, Alex?
Yeah. I'm here.
Yeah, you got to stop buying your phones at 7-Eleven. That's what happens.
Anyway, so Kim and Jake Mangum went 2 for 2 yesterday down in Durham. So those are 2 big key bats that are getting ready to come back.
Yes.
Plus, interesting moves today. The Rays cut catcher Ben, whatever his name is.
Rodvat. Yes.
Him. They signed another catcher.
Yeah. Signed him yesterday. Traded for him from the White Sox.
Mm-hmm. They also made an interesting move today. I don't know if what's his name?
Bushman.
Yeah. He covered it today.
Yeah.
The Rays signed starting pitcher Kyle Gibson. You hear about that?
Yeah, he's a veteran from Baltimore. Got cut, and they're gonna see what they're gonna kick the tires on him. See if he could be a reclamation project. Maybe he's a guy that goes down in the bullpen. I don't think there's an injury in that pitching rotation at this point. They're gonna the Rays. This is what they do. They try to get guys off the scrap heap. See if they can get something out of them. 16 ERA or 17 ERA, but who knows? Maybe they can be the one that, again, puts him in the bullpen, or maybe he's a spot starter and he helps them out because they know that he's a veteran. He's been able to be productive. So we'll see what happens, but that's what the Rays do.
Let me remind you too, Peter, don't forget, I want to remind you of one Ray that the Rays picked up, I think 2-3 years ago it's been now, and had the same issue, and that is Rays starter Zach Littell. Don't forget, Zach Littell came from the Red Sox pitching a 6+ ERA as a reliever.
Correct.
And the Rays do their magic. The Rays pitching coach Kyle Snyder has some ways, and he turned Zach Littell into what seems to be this year a very good starter. So
very good starter.
I know he has a high ERA, but
very underrated starter. If you get more run support, you would have more wins on his record. But the guy has been a hard luck loser. But when you get that run support, he's a guy that's he's like a bulldog, man. He just keeps on throwing and throwing. He hits the strike zone and doesn't have a lot of walks. And you're disappointed because Kevin Cash takes him out at 71 or 72 pitches. But even Littell said in the press conference, I'm not going to argue with Cash. It's what we do. Clevenger gives up the 2-run home run, but after that, the bullpen is able to shut it down. So, all's well that ends well, but Littell has definitely become a solid starter, and you're exactly right. He started off as a bullpen guy, and now he's turned into a solid find for this Rays rotation.
By the way, before I get out of here for tonight, which, by the way, as always, I want to say thank you guys so much for what you do. I know Louis in here too. I'm sure he's still here. I'm not sure if he's still here, but
yes.
I'm here. It's like that. Remember that thing from the UFC thing? John Jones and Daniel Cormier. He goes, "Hey, you still there? You know what?" He goes, "Yeah, I'm still here." You guys remember that?
Yes, we got a couple of wrestling history events that we got to talk about. I'm going to see if I can stump my co-host here on Turnbuckle Talk, but go ahead and finish up here, my friend.
Hey, last thing before I go.
Yes.
And I want to get your take about it, but before I get out of here for the night.
Yes.
Very interesting show with Brody Brazil and JP Peterson on the stadium talks. Did you get a chance to take a look at that, Peter?
I did. I watched some of it. What did you take out of it?
What are your thoughts about all that? I know there are still some mixed emotions. I know JP Peterson and I know yourself are really highly against the whole Orlando thing.
It's not happening.
Has any of your takes changed so far?
No.
Is there some things still undercover on the works that we don't know about?
Everything that I've heard from other people in the know is that first and foremost, Major League Baseball does not want to leave the area. They want to stay in the Tampa Bay area. Furthermore, I think JP is correct. Stu has burned his bridges in St. Pete. He's burned the bridges in Tampa. Eventually, I think the commissioner will step in. The other owners will step in. They will force him to sell, and there will be an ownership group in this Bay Area that will be willing to not only buy the Rays, but build a stadium. And whoever it is, if it's in Tampa or St. Pete, they will work together to get this done. But it's not going to be with Stu, and until Stu sells, it's basically moot at this point, in my opinion.
The other interesting thing that we don't know yet still is, are the Rays going to fix the Trop? Because here we are under 2 weeks away from kicking into the raining season. And I know it was on JP Peterson and his interview yesterday that they made that the Trop has gotten a walkthrough and a lot of mold and a lot of more issues.
It's what happens when you neglect stuff like that. I'm in that field of construction, man. You can't when you have a catastrophe like that and you leave it like that in the line of work that I'm in. I've seen it plenty of times. Obviously you guys get the hurricanes, but like the worst thing they possibly could have done was let that stadium go like that, because now instead of, let's just say $50 million to repair it, now you're looking at 60, 70, $80 million. And that's just to assess it. And then when you really start getting in there with the iron workers and all the other trades that have to start doing their job, that's when you start finding more nightmares. And then you start adding more money to that. And then next thing you know you're way over budget, you're over cost, and it's a big problem. So that goes on ownership. That's on ownership.
That's on ownership. It's been on ownership. We'll see how it plays out. It'll be interesting here to see in the next couple of weeks, and we'll definitely keep you up to date on the situation. Alex, I appreciate the call, my friend.
Thanks, guys. I really appreciate you guys as always.
Yeah, man. Good stuff. I mean, there's a lot of stuff to unpack there. We won't do it tonight, but we will in future shows and see where the Rays go. Will they play in the Trop? They still have a contract. If they don't, then what happens? Does Stu buy it out? Is that when the commissioner steps in? In order for this to work and move forward, Stu has to sell the team. And I think eventually that's what the commissioner of Major League Baseball and the other owners know needs to happen, because in order to get a new stadium deal, it's not going to happen with these cities or these counties, because he has burned those bridges in those respective locations, especially in Pinellas County and St. Pete, with walking away from the deal. Orlando can't sell out their 3 pro leagues. Absolutely. 4-3 Panthers, 7 minutes left. Christopher Cole. NXT canceled the Tuesday event in Tampa and moved it to Orlando. I did not know that. Why did
I heard
that
about that? I have no idea.
I don't know why that happened, but okay. So Mick Foley told the Wrestling Classic that he had a secret meeting with MJF about a retirement match last year that never came to fruition. Foley said he loved the idea MJF had to what would have been a 6-week program. Take my money, Mick Foley, Cactus Jack, MJF. I mean, we saw this kind of vehicle be put into place to build Triple H. I think this is what built Triple H up. They did it with Edge. Does this work with MJF, or is Mick Foley seen his best days?
He's seen his best days.
Okay.
No.
So no interest at all with MJF?
Nope. I think maybe Mick Foley in the mid-2000s at best. Like, I want to say, like, when he was doing programs with Edge. But right now, no, absolutely not. I don't want to see that. No way. He's gonna die.
Well, some of the damage that he suffered, you just kind of
it's not worth it. It's not worth it.
Watching Hell in a Cell from '98. All right, 2 events. Let me see if I can stump you, and then we'll end it. I appreciate your time. I know you got to get up for a new job. All right. May 27th, 1996 is known for what? Why is that important? That was a day ago. Why is that event important? I can't give it away, but why
May 27th, 1996.
Yeah.
Was that a Monday Night Raw?
It was not a Monday Night Raw, so that's already one wrong there. Well, it was a Monday night, though. It was a Monday Night Nitro. Why is that significant?
Oh, Nitro. Okay. Was it the first Nitro with the NWO? No. Hold on. Wait a minute. Stop. That was when Lex Luger showed up on a Nitro.
You were right on there. It was actually Lex Luger showed up on, I believe, September 12th.
Okay.
1995 at the Mall of America.
America, yeah.
You were right at first, but I wasn't going to give it to you. Scott Hall showed up.
You know who I am, but you don't know why I'm here.
I'm here. What were you thinking when that happens, that promo happens? Where were you when it happened? What did you think about it? And then, of course, a couple weeks later, he mentions a big guy that's going to come with him, and it ends up being Kevin Nash, and they turn into the Outsiders. So what's your memory of that event? And it was 29 years ago. Thanks a lot to the media icon, Mr. TJ Reeves, for passing that on to us, because he's a big-time wrestling fan. Turnbuckle Talk.
I was in the living room. I wasn't supposed to be watching TV because I had a bedtime, and there was only one TV in the house at the time. I was in the living room with the TV low, and I seen that, and I was just like, holy crap, WWF is invading WCW.
Boom. That's it.
To God, honest truth, I really did, because he didn't say who he was. He goes, you know who I am. You don't know why I'm here. And I was just like, wow. That was good stuff.
You can never get away with that now because you have the dirt sheets. But back then, you didn't have any dirt sheets at that point, and a lot of people thought
Meltzer, that's it.
That it was WWE, and they had to ask the question, and I believe Vince and WWE sued WCW for inferring. And then, of course, Eric Bischoff asked about WWE and Vince and all this other stuff, and of course, they had to back off of it. But at the time, they were inferring it, that it was an invasion, and people believed it. That's why it worked. That's why it still works. I don't think it'll work today because of the dirt sheets. If MJF came to WWE, who would be a good storyline to work with, the wrestler? God, that is such a great question. I think eventually it will happen because MJF wants to.
There's a lot of good potential storylines there. Like him and Seth Rollins would be good.
CM Punk, I think that CM Punk storyline was there too. Still,
yeah, you could do Punk and him.
Yeah,
you can do. There's quite a few things you can do still with him. I mean,
all right.
For me, it would just mostly be if I had to start it off. MJF. Oh man, that's I would do him and Seth Rollins.
All right. I believe, and I'm trying to make sure this is correct, but the other event that happened last week, and this was I don't want to give this away because you'll probably know it. Over the Edge pay-per-view.
Okay.
There was a tragedy that happened. Do you know what it was?
The Owen Hart situation.
Very good.
Yep. Yeah, it was.
And that was at, what was that, 98 or 99? I'm trying to think here.
I think that was 90. Because Brett left, 97?
Mm-hmm.
And then he became the Blue Blaze. Well, he did the whole nation thing for a little bit. And then he transitioned into the Blue Blazer. And that was
99. It was 99 at Over the Edge. Now,
back into his career.
I remember, and I don't remember the pay-per-view, but I watched the replay of it the other night. I saw the dark side of the ring. I couldn't believe it came up again, 1999. If something like this ever happened, do you think that Triple H or the wrestling powers that be would continue the pay-per-view? Because while this is going, of course, he falls like 84 feet into the ring.
Yeah. It's
dead. Jim Ross has to announce that this is not a part of the storyline. Jerry Lawler is saying in the background, this looks bad. Then Jim Ross announces that Owen Hart has died, and they still continue the pay-per-view. And I believe it was Undertaker and Steve Austin, and there's like a mark in the ring. Like,
yeah, they just stared at it.
Just stared at it.
Like I couldn't do the show.
Why? Can you make some sense of it? Because I can never make any sense of why.
So a prime example, bringing up my line of work. I saw somebody get taken out with a bucket.
Right.
And I've actually been on a receiving end of that before as well. It's not fun. You can die. I mean, I don't know if you guys ever seen like those big excavators and backhoe buckets, little mini excavators. You get hit with one of those things and you're in the reach of somebody's boom and you get tagged, you're going to go flying and you could possibly die. I seen somebody get tagged hard and I said to myself, if that kid's dead, I'm going the F home. I'm not working today. It's just one of those things, man. When a work-related accident happens like that, if that kid was dead in the trench, I wouldn't. How do you expect me to go in there hours later after you? You know what I'm saying? I can't do that. No, man. Like it's just it's a psychological thing, and it's just like I said, if this kid's messed up, I'm going home today.
Yeah.
I'm not doing it. And that situation with Owen Hart, I think they should have. I don't know. Kudos to them guys for doing what they did, but I couldn't wrestle in that match after knowing what happened.
Jeff Jarrett comes on, and he's a friend, and they kind of knew. They kind of knew that he was gone, and you could tell when he's trying to do his promo, he's breaking down because he knows that Hart is dead, which is crazy. Game over, 5-3 Panthers, so they are in the Stanley Cup final.
Not so little anymore.
Yep, they were so messed up that they continued the pay-per-view. Their claim was that people paid, so we have to continue the show. And I just don't think that ever happens again. Like Vince,
I don't think so either.
I think they continue it, but now Triple H is running it.
Yeah, I don't think so.
People are and I get it. The show must go on. Like they did it during 9/11, and they came out with the show.
Yeah, but there was a lot of negligence with stuff like that. I don't think something like that would ever happen again because, like, it's no different than in my job. When you get tied off, you have to check your cables. You have to check everything. Unfortunately, somebody didn't do their job. They should have checked whatever it was that he was coming down from. They should have. They doubled and triple checked.
Right. Yeah. They tried to save money, and it was proven or talked about on Dark Side of the Ring. I shouldn't say proven because it was alleged, but they're certainly the family believes. I want to read this. It's now the Over the Edge pay-per-view. Owen was not himself during those days. He would normally be the most positive guy in the world. He was a prankster, legendary prankster. However, he had a different altitude because he was nervous. Or is it attitude? I think it's attitude because he was nervous about doing the stunt, especially as he was afraid of heights. Owen is now on top of the ceiling of the arena. They're ready to do the stunt until he tragically falls. Both Jerry Lawler and Ross saw Owen fall and land on one of the turnbuckles. Jimmy Corderas, who was a WWE referee at the time, was in the ring cleaning it or clearing it and was going to officiate the match. Owen barely misses Corderas, but he remembers feeling a breeze and Owen screaming. Lawler goes into the ring. The doctors go to work trying to save Owen. The live broadcast is just showing the crowd and Ross throughout the entire situation. It's obvious that something was wrong. It was chaos backstage, and Lawler is so pale because he has witnessed death. Lawler went backstage, legit told everyone that he believed that Owen was dead. Even when he got back on the commentary table, Lawler had a look on his face that it was just hard not to forget. The scary thing that was when Owen was wheeled to the back to be rushed to the hospital, his face was blue. The Godfather and D'Lo Brown saw him in that state, and it's emotional. God knows how many others backstage saw him in that state, and the fact that WWE continued the show angers me to this very day. This is what the writer is saying, Dark Side of the Ring. Owen's last words when he was failing was "look out," and Jim Cornette, who really breaks down, was crying and talking about Owen's death.
Yeah.
One of the saddest days
negligence.
In wrestling history. I go back to it. It just it gives me goosebumps. I don't know how they continued the match. I don't know how it was. I understand it's what's best for business, and the show must go on and guys paid, but that's just dramatic, and I can't imagine witnessing that situation. Can you imagine?
Nope. Because like I said, that day I seen that kid go flying, and I thought he was dead, and I was just like, yep, not working. I'm going home.
All right. On that note, let's end it off on a positive note, my friend.
Yeah.
Congratulations on the new job. We will see you tomorrow. Go ahead and promote yourself here on the Evolution on Happy Hump Day edition.
Yeah, man. The Frozen Pirate podcast tomorrow at 7:30. 7:30. I have a good show lined up for you guys. I'm going to be talking about Todd Bowles' situation with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. If he drops the ball this year, there could be a familiar face coming back to Tampa. I'm going to go ahead and say that. I'm going to talk about that, let you know on tomorrow's show at 7:30. Leo Haggerty is probably going to be joining us from 7:30 to 8 o'clock. And then whoever else decides to show up will show up. But I have a good show. Like I said, we're going to be talking about Hasson Reddick, the Buccaneer defense, the stadium situation. Are the Glazers really going to move forward with some repairs and what I think they need to do, in my opinion, to keep fans week one through the whole season instead of the Ray J takeover? Have a good show, man. Have a good show. And again, I appreciate every single one of you guys. What was it, 1,300 viewers on last week's show? Is truly amazing. And again, I'm honored to do that. And I appreciate everybody because I know you guys have a lot of options out there for podcasts. So to sit there and take your time and listen to my nonsense is truly amazing. And as always, you guys can catch me right here on the Sports Web every Monday and Wednesday at 8 o'clock. And we love doing the Turnbuckle Talk. And like I said, tomorrow, 7:30. It's on.
All right. It is on
that ship.
Like Donkey Kong, my friend. Absolutely.
What do you hear? What do you say?
Peace. Good night.
And that's it right there. He's gone. He's out. Great stuff there. 3 hours of sports talk, whether it was the Bucs, the Rays, around the NFL a little bit. Talked to Ian Book. No Leo tonight. We talked a little bit with Harry. No Ray. Threw it out there. OKC going to the NBA Finals since 2012. So congratulations to them. Panthers moving on to the Stanley Cup Final. Definitely don't want to imagine that was probably the hardest event to watch. Absolutely, Lamar. Louis, did you do a podcast yesterday? He did not. He does it on Thursdays here on the Sports Web. Let's go ahead and wrap it up right there. The evolution of sports talk television. Thanks a lot to all the guests in the night. Of course, we had Harry the Greek call in, be a guest. We also had Super Bowl winning quarterback for the Eagles last year, Ian Book, talking about quarterback play. Definitely check that out. And of course, Louis from the Frozen Pirate podcast and L. Bushman of the Rays Rewind podcast, talking about the Rays winning ways as they start a road trip with the Houston Astros. So we'll see if they can continue the momentum. Of course, winning today 5-0 over the Twins with Lau with a home run, Junior Caminero now over 500. So we keep you up to date on that situation, talking about OTAs. It's all out there. We'll continue to read some of these comments here. I'm following your podcast. I appreciate that. No KC put out the Timberwolves game 5, 124-94. So right there. So we await to see who is going to be the other contestant there in the Eastern Conference. Is going to be the New York Knicks or the Indiana Pacers as OKC with the MVP there and the guard. I love that All-Star jersey, bro. Thank you very much. Appreciate you, Lamar. Much mahalos for your time, guys. Appreciate it again.
Oh, yeah.
Again, Facebook stars are open. Like and subscribe to the Sports Web on YouTube. Friend me on Facebook at Peter H. Blake. We'll keep it down here tonight for the roommates. 3 things. Bring your passion. Bring your excitement. Just don't bring any nonsense. I'm your host, Peter Blake, your Rolex reporter. What time is it? It's my time. And for fans of the Sports Web and the Tampa Bay sports fan, it's your time. We'll see you next time on the evolution of Sports Talk Television. As we always say to end the show, go Bucs.